rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My family's on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the result. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Life and for those who be caught up in using what I was taught with the muse. I guess they call it proving I'm more than an artist. Penciling out my darkest while stenciling out a harvest. And storing what gets me from A to B, just like garages. Instrumental with collages. Envision what I've been drawn. Broadway to give you rhythm like the great Lena on. So bent on, found comfort in the storm. Find peace and on when you see them others perform. Organized chaos, outcast it like hey ya.
Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's your main man, Uncle Freezy, the number one chief rocker in Knicks universe, and this is the Knicks at Night podcast. Welcome. Man, I'm getting choked up, emotional. Welcome. Hey, y'all, let's get this party started right. Let's get this party started quickly. Right? Let's do it. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, man. I wanted to speak strictly Summer League, but now I'm getting a whole bunch of new information about Donovan Mitchell trades and people that may be peripheral players in this play called the NBA offseason. What's going on with the Miami Heat? Are the Miami Heat a major player in this Donovan Mitchell situation? Are they going to get Kevin Durant, or are they going to acquire Donovan Mitchell? If they acquire Donovan Mitchell, what does that mean for the Knicks? Right? If they don't get this deal done, will Knicks fans forgive this process? Will heads roll? So a lot of things to talk about, man. I really wanted to speak to y'all about the potential development of RJ Barrett going into a year with something to prove. But I think the topic du jour is Donovan Mitchell watch. And I hate to do it to you guys, but the Knicks and Jazz are doing it to us. Right? I hate to do it to you guys and gals, but listen. We're basically prisoners of the moment. We are prisoners of the moment. Do I like being a prisoner of the moment? Sometimes, because sometimes it's fun. It's like New Year's Eve. You know how New Year's Eve, you be a prisoner of the moment? You don't want to think you're the prisoner of the moment, but you are captivated by an event that only happens in time, and time and moment being a stitch of time. Bodega Wi-Fi is in the building. What's good? DSJ, White Falcon, what's good? I see you. Rich Boy, what's good? CWC, Fish, what's good? Do I like being a prisoner of the moment? No. Well, sometimes. Like I like New Year's Eve. I like waiting around
for the big event to happen at a certain time. I do. Y'all do too. It's the reason why y'all have New Year's Eve parties. Right? It's the reason why when the baby is about to be born, everybody have their phones charged up because they can't wait for the baby to get here. Right? So sometimes we like being prisoners of the moment. Sometimes we do. It sounds like such a strong phrase, but we like it. Sometimes. Right? We like it sometimes. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we do. In this case, where we want to talk about the development of RJ Barrett. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, you got space on both sides, you said. Yeah. The Boys in the Hood poster came through, man. I'm thinking about hanging it up real quick. Maybe when the guys start chopping it up, we'll hang up the Boys in the Hood poster, the movie poster. It's dope though. That's fire. They said 24 by 36, and we get it, and it looked like it's 22 by 36. But whatever. Who's complaining? It's Ice Cube. Right? So I really, really wanted to get into this Portland Trailblazers revenge game. Right? I really wanted to get into this Portland Trailblazers revenge game. So we play Portland tomorrow for the Summer League Championship at 3:00. Right? We'll be live streaming. We'll be streaming live during that. Right? We'll be streaming live for that. But we can't help but acknowledge all the details that are coming to the fore about the Donovan Mitchell trade. I think I'm going to put a poll in the chat. Would you, as a Knicks fan, be upset if the Knicks don't trade for Donovan Mitchell? I think I'm going to put that poll in the chat. Yo, I got a message, a tweet from Uncle Alchemy. Shout out to Uncle Alchemy, Athletic Alchemy, man. Make sure y'all subscribe to his channel on YouTube. Shout out to that. That's a really sharp and smart brother. In-depth coverage. He covers everything. Golden State, some NBA, really smart dude. I would advise if you're browsing YouTube anyway for sports, Athletic Alchemy is your guy on YouTube. Maybe we could put the link to him in the chat so that you know what I'm saying he can so y'all can get some quality content. Right. Eddie F gave me a suggestion this morning about doing a poll on how much you like a Knick. So once we get people's in the chat, what I'll do is disappear for like a few moments and do some producer stuff and put a poll out there for Quentin Grimes. Right. And basically what it'll be is a fan love poll asking you, how much do you love Quentin Grimes, really love, he aight, or don't like him? You guys did the same thing for Emmanuel Quickly. I'm going to see if I can find the results for you. Let me see if I can find the results for you. Give me a sec. Just bear with me. Well, let me go to community. All right. All right. So I don't see it here, but we'll try to find it. We're trying to find the poll. We'll try to find it. We'll try to find it. But anyway. My audio was bumping. Let me see. I'm not for sure what that is. I got everything plugged into the motherboard. It's like the Matrix. I'm ethered to everything. I'm tethered to everything. I'm not using Wi-Fi anything. Right? I don't know what to say about the Donovan Mitchell thing. So even Uncle Alchemy, let me see. I got a reply from Uncle Alchemy. Even Uncle Alchemy says, FYI, I hope Miami get Don for y'all's sake, though. He ain't him. Yeah. I think I want him though. Are you guys with me? Are you guys past the point of wanting somebody else? Knicks fans, are you guys past the point of wanting another player, or do you just want Donovan Mitchell? Right? Okay. Do you guys strictly want Don, or can you deal with an SGA instead? Can you guys deal with a Donovan Mitchell, or can you deal with another player instead? My deal is this, man. I ain't even gonna lie to you, bro. Don't get my hopes up on some stuff, on some ish, and then pull the rug out from up under me. Don't get my hopes up for something and then come through with something different. Don't get my mouth all watered up for orange juice and then come up with apple juice and be like, well, juice is juice. Nah. See, because I didn't ask for any of this stuff. I didn't ask for Donovan Mitchell specifically. This has been the rumor, right? And I talked to guys behind the scenes. Like I talked to occasionally, I'll tweet at Uncle Alchemy. Occasionally, I'll talk to Macri from Knicks Film School. Occasionally. And these guys are smart basketball minds, and they put out dope product. Shout out to the Knicks Film School. Right? And what it appears to all, what it appears to be to all the smart basketball minds is that this has been the plan all along. Donovan Mitchell has been the target all along. A backcourt of Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell has been the plan all along. So Sherwin asks, is Donovan Mitchell better than SGA? I don't know. And honestly, I don't even care. It's like saying legit, is Nike better than Adidas? I don't care. At this point, I want Nikes. And I'm sorry, Sherwin M, for being curt with that response, but I'm being real with my response. Like, I'm not being snippy with you. I'm being absolutely, positively forthright with my response to a legitimate question. So, Sherwin, don't think I'm being snippy. I'm not. What you asked was a legitimate question, and I am being positively forthright with my response to the question that you asked. And that's what you wanted, right? That's what you wanted from me, and that's what I gave. I'm in a mindset that if this front office doesn't pull off this deal that they did set up the future to pull off, I think I might be on that train to get they asses out of here. Bye. Don't tell me about all the other stuff. Well, Uncle Freezy, we got 1,000 picks over the next 100,000 years. And, you know, if the guys develop it, but I don't want to hear that. I don't. I don't care. This front office moved from one young core to another right in front of y'all eyes, and a lot of y'all don't even notice. Y'all don't notice that Damian Dotson is not here, right? That Frank Ntilikina is not here. That Kevin Knox is not here. That Alonzo Trier is not here, right? All the young core of the previous regime, except for Mitch and maybe RJ. RJ is borderline. Except for Mitch, they're gone. And Knicks fans tell me all the time that, Uncle Freezy, we've never been in this place. We've never had a young core. I'm throwing a flag. That's BS. We just transitioned from one young core to another, right in front of everybody's eyes. Right in front of everybody's eyes. There's no more Kevin Knox. There's no more Frank. There's no more Damian Dotson. There's no more Alonzo Trier. Right? RJ Barrett is the line of demarcation. And I know what you're going to say. Well, this organization, they didn't draft RJ Barrett and blah, 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 blah. I understand what you're saying. But they also didn't draft Mitch. Mitch is here. RJ is here. But this young core is Mitch, RJ, Obi, Quickly, Grimes, McBride, Jokibitis, Sims, Hunt. That's a totally different young core than the young core pre-RJ that predated RJ Barrett's ascension. And Knicks fans are trying to tell me that, Uncle Freezy, we've never been in this situation when we had draft picks and young players. BS. Because the previous young core had the trade pieces, the draft picks from the Kristaps Porzingis trade. Listen, man, don't try to talk me in circles. I'm smart. Right? Don't try to talk me in circles. I'm too smart for that. Don't talk to me about Well, this organization never had a young core. Like we never been in a situation like this with young pieces and draft picks. BS. Because this organization had Knox, Frank, Dotson, Trier, the draft picks from the Porzingis trade, all those things. We've been in this situation before. Don't try to sell me on this whole situation is new. Don't try to sell me on this situation is new. This is the first time we had a young core in draft picks. That's BS. Because we had the draft picks from the Porzingis trade and we had young players at the same time. And I know you're going to say, well, they traded for Cam. Right. But the previous regime also traded for a top 10 player in Dennis Smith Jr. Hey, neither one of them are working out right now. Neither one of them are. Dennis Smith Jr. looks like a lottery bust. And even though I love Cam Reddish and think he's got tantalizing ability, he ain't did nothing in New York yet. Nothing. And my role in Knicks universe, aside from being the number one chief rocker, my role in Knicks universe, aside from being the number one chief rocker in Knicks universe, is to protect you guys from BS. That's my role. My role is to protect you guys from BS and give you guys a place for you to state your opinion without being harassed and bullied. And trust me, they out there. The harassers and the bullies are out there. Right. Look at it. Yeah. The Ron Bakers, the Willie Hernan Gomez's, the Kuzmingises, the Luke Cornett's, the Isaiah Hickses. Bruh, don't talk to me about not having a young core. Don't talk to me about this situation with RJ Barrett and Quickly and Obi is a new feeling. Your memory cannot be that short. Don't talk to me about G League superstars. Because man, look, 3 years ago, we were talking, or 4 years ago, we were talking about Trey Burks's, Tony Wooten's, Isaiah Hicks's, Luke Cornett's. Don't talk to me about Farron Hunt and Deuce McBride. And I like both. I like both as Knicks. Don't get that twisted. But what I'm talking about is the asset part. Don't talk to me about these assets in the G League. Oh my God, these assets look so great. This is the first time. No, this is not the first time. This is not the first time. We got Trey Burke out of the G League. We got Tony Wooten out of the G League. Isaiah Hicks, Luke Cornett, Alonzo Trier. Right? And so I'm bringing this up not to drag dead bodies from the grave, but to say this situation with Donovan Mitchell, is one that if the front office doesn't pull this off, they are the same as the previous regime. And where are they? Don't do the same thing as the previous regime, right? Don't do the same thing as the previous regime. See, because the previous regime was on, look, the previous regime was on their deathbed as soon as KD and Kyrie signed with Brooklyn. As soon as they signed with Brooklyn, you know that regime was on a deathbed. And I'm here to tell you, if this regime don't get this right, the doctor is going to come out of the room with that long coat on and a clipboard, talking that talk like we've done everything that we can. Leon Rose, don't let us have that talk about y'all, man. Because the thing about the Knicks fans, like the thing about Knicks fans is we're smart, bro. Knicks fans are smart. You might be able to fool us and throw us off the scent a little bit, but we'll catch up. Like you legit can throw us off the scent a little bit, but we'll catch up. Like we watched how the Knicks legit put back-to-back young cores together right in front of our eyes, right? And Knicks fans, some Knicks fans, the ones that we have to go to and educate, like, come on, man. There's no such thing as this young core and draft picks things is new. No, it's not. We had vanilla ham sandwich young cores before and draft picks. We've had them before. We have it right now. This is not new. Yeah, guys, tell me if you heard this before. Oh, man, our lottery pick just need to get more time. The coach is stupid. I don't know why the coach won't play him. We need to fire the coach because the coach don't know what he's doing. This lottery pick that we chose, he just need to get minutes. This lottery pick, he just got a dude playing in front of him. Who y'all think I'm talking about? Hey, put in the chat, who do you think I'm talking about when I say, man, this top 10 pick just got somebody playing in front of him. All he got to do is get rid of that dude playing in front of him, and then he'll become a star for us. Put in the chat who y'all think I'm talking about. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Tell me who y'all think I'm talking about. Oh, man, this lottery pick, man, he got somebody in front of him. All you got to do is trade that guy. Trade that dude in front of him. The coach is stupid. Hey, Trini and Harlem got it right. Where Trini and Harlem at? I'm talking about Frank Ntilikina. But if you put another name in the chat, if you put a name like Obi Toppin or Kevin Knox, guess what? You just validated my argument. If you said any other name aside from Frank Ntilikina, you just validated what I am saying to you as a Knicks fan. One Knicks fan to another. Will Salker said John Wallace. Exactly. That too. Cam Reddish. That too. So what I'm getting at is this. Don't be fooled by all the narratives, the hidden ball trick. They getting you to look at one hand, but they get ready to punch you with the other. Nah, man, we too smart for that. We Knicks fans. We too smart for that, man. Like, we legit have two young cores bumped up against each other, and draft picks. And what happened is somebody muddied the waters to make it seem like the previous young core thing never existed. But it did. But it did. People are telling us we ain't never been in this situation. I'm sorry, but I got to do this. I'm sorry, but I got to do it this way. We ain't never been in this situation before, boss. Yeah. Yeah, we have. Yeah, we have. Yeah, we have. We legit just bumped up 2 rebuilds, 2 young cores together, and still are a 37-win team. Don P, we legit just bumped up 2 rebuilds, 2 young cores, and draft picks side by side, and the end result is still 37 wins. Somebody help me, bro. Somebody help me. Somebody help me with this, because I can't figure out for the life of me why we are patient. Knicks fans, why are we patient? You got 2 young cores back to back, bumped up against each other. Now, my thing is this, and it's funny that the chat couldn't figure out that I was talking about Frank Ntilikina, because a lot of the same narratives we apply to the same thing, like it's Groundhog's Day, right? Hey, and you know what? I got a note. I got a note from one of my dear friends. Like, yo, I hear you talking, Uncle Freezy. Who are you talking about? Quentin Grimes and Evan Fournier? Who are you talking about? Quentin Grimes and Evan Fournier? No. I said lottery pick. I mentioned lottery pick. So of course, you know, Quentin Grimes wasn't a lottery pick. And I'm not saying, of course, Grimes wasn't a lottery pick. I'm saying, of course, it didn't apply. This statement didn't apply to Quentin Grimes because Quentin Grimes wasn't a lottery pick, not the fact that Quentin Grimes didn't deserve to be one. Bodega says, we knew who you were talking about. We just couldn't resist saying Obi. Jason says, I feel like our scouting department is way better, though. And listen, I don't dispute that. But what I'm saying is hey, okay, let me I'm not disputing that. I think they have enough of talent, right? And in response to Jason, Sherwin says Cam was not our lottery pick, though. Sherwin, I know that, right? But that's the reason why I mentioned Dennis Smith Jr. That's the reason why I brought up Dennis Smith Jr. when I brought up Cam. A draft pick trade that got a talented young lottery player to the Knicks. I mentioned that. Let me throw the link out there for Don P. Let me throw the link out there. All right, there you go, boss. Big Diff says Cam is an asset. So was Dennis Smith Jr. Because we traded Dennis Smith Jr. for Derrick Rose. No matter how you say it, no matter what y'all use, no matter what strategy you use, no matter what built-in excuse, no matter what narrative, no matter what line of thinking, no matter what excellent response, what it boils down to is this regime is the same as the other regime. Don P, what's good?
What's good, Uncle Freezy? How's it going, man?
Hey, man. Hey, bro.
Getting some stuff off your chest, I see, man.
yeah, mate. Yeah, mate.
Hey, I see what you're saying, man, about the young cores, man, but let's not act like, people wasn't rallying for Frank like how we was doing RJ and Obi Toppin. I damn sure wasn't rallying for Frank. I was against the grind with Frank. But the young core that you spoke of back then, Frank Ntilikina, Kevin Knotts, Alonzo Trey, those were the
Trey
real
Burke, Luke
Cornett,
Cornett, Isaiah Hicks,
Tony
Wooten.
I feel bad for Tony Wooten. His injury, he didn't really get a fair shake. But as far as like the people that you just named, those is the real ham sandwiches compared to the young core that we have now. Like Alonzo Trey, look at him. The only thing he could do was ISO, get you a bucket. He was one-dimensional. Could he defend? Nah. Frank Ntilikina, his defense was sometime. You know what I mean? His offense hurt us way more than his defense helped us. That's Frank Ntilikina. Kevin Knotts, he had ample time to show us what he has under Fizdale. He never worked out. He had the minutes. He never worked out. It wasn't like a Cam situation to where he got the minutes and he hooped. He had the minutes. He just never showed out. Those are the real ham sandwiches. That wasn't a real youth movement. That was a team full of scrubs.
Nah, that was a youth movement, bro. You can't say that and then not include their age, bro. Come on, man. You know those dudes were young. You know those dudes were young. Don't do that, Don P. Come on, bro.
There was. But are you Frank Ntilikina though? Really?
Was Frank young? Frank
was young, but
okay.
But did he put up any comparable numbers to what?
But that was never what anything that I stated. I didn't state how good or bad each player was. What I said was it was a youth movement. This is totally about age. This has nothing to do with production.
It is. But my point is the youth movement that you spoke of was way worse than the one that we have now.
Right. But my point is, okay, so you validated my point.
Okay.
So basically you agree that other thing was a youth movement. And what we're doing right now is a youth movement.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So yeah. That's all I'm saying, bro. I'm not here to gauge people's careers. I'm simply pointing out that the narrative that this is the first time that we've had a youth movement is false.
Okay. All right.
That was my point. That was my point. Listen.
I can see.
If you prefer like this young core over that one, that's okay. I'll probably be with you. But to say that the other young core never happened, we legit just do the pin flashy thing like Men in Black on that youth movement. Come on, bro, we can't do that.
I don't see. You're right. If you want to just talk about facts, at the end of the day, that was a youth movement.
Right.
If
that's all I'm saying. Like for instance, if you like Obi Toppin over Kevin Knox, so what? Maybe me too. Maybe I do too. right?
You asked another question. You
or
asked
if
another
you
question.
okay.
You asked, no, go ahead, Freezy.
I was gonna say if you like RJ Barrett, over Alonzo Trier, you know what? Me too. But to act like Alonzo Trier was never here. Come on, that's fake. That's fake. To act like Frank Ntilikina was never here. Come on, man, that's fake.
I'm not gonna act like Frank Ntilikina was never here. I'm just saying.
Not you. I'm not saying you. I'm just talking. Now, mind you, I'm just speaking in general terms.
Okay,
I ain't being disrespectful. I'm just speaking in general terms, bro. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, out of all of those people that you named during that time, you said it multiple times on your show. The only person who consistently showed out, for the most part, was Emmanuel Mudiay, who was 22 at the time.
Right.
But I see what you're saying, Freezy. I do. And you asked us why are we so patient.
Yeah. Why? Yeah. Why are you so patient, bro?
Because I see teams like I always mention the Raptors. I will mention the Spurs. I mention the Warriors. Like when I see teams draft their players, develop their players, allow the players to play through the rough spots and get them to a position to where they all can succeed. I'm feeling that. The Warriors, the free agent that they had, I remember when they traded Harrison Barnes. I don't know who they traded him to, but I remember they traded him and they got Andre Iguodala. He's perfect for that system. But Harrison Barnes wasn't no scrub for the Warriors. But
he wasn't.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like, why can't we do that? That's my question. Why can't we sit there and draft and develop our own stars? Like, am I in denial to say that the Knicks can never do that? Or
yes, you are, and you are in.
If I'm in denial, then damn.
you because think about what I just mentioned to you. Think about this.
Yeah.
I just mentioned to you that the Knicks had 2 young cores back to back.
Right.
The Knicks had 2 young cores back to back. And by doing so, the end result is no superstar in a 37-win team. But you want me to sit.
But the way you make it seem, Freezy, is cut and dry. Like, what's the context behind that, though? Like, did we have to pick Frank Ntilikina over anybody else in that draft? Did we have to pick Frank?
Bro, that's one of the things that I wanted to get to is that you had 2 young cores back to back, right? And now some Knicks fans are saying, hey, that first young core thing never happened. Wipe it from your memory banks, right? This young core is the first time this has ever happened, right? Be patient with them, and we'll keep adding young players. We'll add another young core after this one, and this one will be better than the one that actually did happen.
You saying that's the narrative back then as well, or was
no?
That
this is what's happening right now.
Right. I'm a part of that.
Right. Okay. Because think about it. You legit want to wipe. This is a personal question, not a fact based. Well, like I'm not putting you on the witness stand, bro. I'm just asking you for your personal opinion.
Yeah.
Would you rather totally forget about that young core of Frank Ntilikina and Kevin Knox?
Absolutely.
And would you rather move forward with another young core and build your own championship?
Absolutely.
And so in saying that, you recognize that me asking the question to you is legitimate. Like I'm not just pulling a narrative out of the air.
But you made a point after you asked the question. You said, yo, the last young core won such and such games. This young core did such and such. It's like you did it in such a it's like a black and white thing with you. There's no gray.
It was slick. I did it in such a slick way.
Yeah,
I didn't mean for it to be that way.
I kind of like you kind of made it like, yo, we got the last young core. You know, they didn't did much. This young core is not doing much, and it's like, come on, Freezy. You add context to certain things, but then other things you make it just so black and white.
Right, because and listen, I did that intentionally, not to be deceptive, but to eliminate the minutia. Right. But I eliminated the Marcus Morris stuff was here, the Alfred Payton was here, the changing coaches and all that. I want to eliminate, strip down all that stuff because that stuff has nothing to do with young players. I only want to focus on the young players aspect of it. That's why.
Okay. Gotcha.
Like I didn't want to get to the whole, hey, New York was trying to get KD. I didn't want to get to all of that. All I wanted to talk about was a young core of NBA players.
Right.
So it
what's
was
up, Freaky?
Jay,
what's up, Dom
good?
P?
What's good, Jay?
Chillin'. Hey, can I just say one thing real quick about the young core?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I believe Kevin Knox did something nobody in our young core did yet, and we forgot about it. Pretty sure he won Rookie of the Month.
That's a feat. I won't deny a feat.
You know what we did after his rookie year? We signed more people and we just buried him and then messed up his trajectory. That's what happens to Kevin Knox. They didn't invest in that young man.
Yeah, see, I wasn't gonna go there because player development is up and down. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. Right? Sometimes you hit on the guy, sometimes you miss on the guy. Right? And so I didn't want to. That wasn't my thing. My whole thing was my whole point is if this front office doesn't pull off a major move, then they are just like the old front office. Right? The old front office built a young core that they believed in. When it came time for them to get the big fish, they missed and they got fired. And this front office built a young core that they believe in. They're chasing a big fish. And if they don't get him, I think the end result is they're going to get fired.
No, they should get fired if they don't go after Donovan Mitchell.
I want to add to what you said, Jay, about Kevin Knox. Again, I just want to ask you this.
Let me do this real quick. So I just want to acknowledge. So Sherwin M says, I didn't like the last young core. I do like RJ, Cam, Mitch, and Grimes. Hey, and Sherwin, I'm not saying that I dislike or like either. All I'm saying is that both young cores existed. That's all I'm saying, everybody.
You also asked Freezy, why are we so patient?
No. But this is that's a separate issue. That's not about the young core. Like okay. I'm not asking why are we so patient with this young core. Okay. Right. My question about why are we so patient is why are we so patient in terms of the leadership, top to bottom, the owner, the team president, front office, coaches, staff, players. Why are we so patient about getting a championship? That's a separate question. That has nothing to do with the young cores, right? Because what I was doing was going from A to B to C. We had a young core with assets. It didn't work out. We fired the guy. Now we have a young core with assets. It might not work out. I think they may fire the guy. At what point do we just go to the owner and be like, yo, it's championship or bust? Right? And Don, and you know this because Don, listen, I'm gonna give you a compliment in a real strange way, right? And just follow me. Don, you're a very smart dude and charismatic, right? And so you understand where I'm going, like when I link these things together, right?
Right.
But what I'm saying is this, because I understand how you actually think things, not totally, but I understand that you think about the things before you say them, right? Some people call it measured. I ain't want to look, man. I like Don P, but I ain't ready to start a fan club and shit. I ain't ready to. with no Don P t-shirt or nothing. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's my man. That's my man. That's my man. But you get what I'm getting at, right? It's this thing. At some point, at what point do you get fed up with the same thing over and over and over again, and just give an ultimatum?
Freezy, I see what you mean. I see what you're getting at, because the fact of the matter is we haven't won a championship. You know what I mean? We haven't won a ring. And I also understand that. I also, looking back hindsight, we see all the mistakes that has been made.
Right.
You know what I mean? We seen all the mistakes that has been made. For the life of me, the reason why I bring other teams up that's building the way they building, I wonder why those teams have either built faster than we have, or stayed relevant after they won a ring. I always point to the Raptors, because if you look at the players on their squad, they're not no big time names. They're all of them are self-made. Each and every single one of them. Fred VanVleet, I don't even think he was drafted. I think he was picked up from the G League or something, and they built him up, or he built himself up. I'm not sure. I just wonder, why can't we do the same thing? Why do we always have to follow the template of I would say the 2013 season, where we just spending crazy money to rent a champion, or to compete for maybe 1 or 2 seasons? Why we do that? Like, and you just answered a question that I guess I wasn't in denial about. I always had this one hope as a Knicks fan, as a young Knicks fan, that maybe we can build like a small market. It's obvious that it's hard for us to get free agents, but I always held out that hope that, maybe we can build like the Spurs. Maybe we can build like Miami Heat or whatever. But if we can't build like that, if we have to trade for stars, if the only way to sustain New York Knicks is to trade for stars, or that's the only thing we can do, then that's sad. That's miserable. That's pathetic. And I'm not saying us as a fan base. I'm saying us as a franchise. It's pathetic. Every other teams have 3 options in order for them to compete, and you're telling me that we only have 1 option, which is the trade for a star?
I don't know, bro. I don't know. Jay, can you help us, bro?
Jay, am I in denial? Like, is it impossible for us to build that way?
No, you're not in denial. You're definitely not in denial. And Freezy, you wrong.
I knew you was gonna say that, bro.
Yeah, you wrong. You know what? I had to come straighten you now. You wrong. I'm on the Las Vegas Strip, and I hear my boy, spitting the gossip. This is where you're wrong at. Okay. Just because you had that young core, but that was the start of it. And we continue to do with it. But you're looking at 2 different regimes.
I know that.
All right, then. So when you look at the 2 different regimes, they're only years apart. You might be talking about 2 years apart, but they're doing the same thing right now with the Knicks. Okay, so it's not like we've done it before. Like the way you put it out there, it's like what Cat is talking about. He's right, and he's not in denial, because right now you can also look at that Gallinari thing as a young core. So you could talk about 3 different young cores. But see, this is the thing: at the butt of the young core, when something is happening, we want to switch directions. That's the thing right now that got Knick Nation in torment. We right at that point right now that we see promise in these young players. Not to say that they're superstars, not to say that they're all-stars, not to say anything, because we don't know, because we never seen it before. But right at the cusp of it.
How you gonna say? You just said that the other regime did it. They 2 years apart. And then now you just said that we hadn't seen it before.
Hey, look, because no, we haven't, because Frank was the first player that stayed 4 years. In 35 years since Charlie Ward. So we can't say that we did see it before. Frank was the only player. The next player to be signed like that was still on the team with Frank, and that's Mitch. So you can't say it's different. because Mitch was on the team with Frank. So we, in all reality, we have two players that survived it now. Mitch is the latest one. So therefore, we're staying right there on cue on what we're doing. Now, if we this is what look, Donovan Mitchell is not the problem. It's that we see everybody see things in certain players, no matter who you may like. That's on this team. When Frank was on that team, you was either in the Frank Hyde, Moutier we didn't draft, or you was with Melo, but it wasn't an abundance of young players that anybody in Nick Nation to pick on. You got the Obi clique. You got the Quickly clique. You got the RJ clique. And this is all players on the same team that we drafted. That's what makes it different. And right now, we want to send some of them away, which I always said was going to happen. But the question is this the player to do it for? Because if he's the player to do it for, it would have been any available all-star we would have dumped the team for. And that's the problem. We have to really look at it, not to say Spider's a great player. Nobody tripping on that.
Nobody tripping on that, bro.
There ain't nobody tripping on that. But is he the player? When you look at Portland, you know, you got signs out there with great teams that made great runs. Do we just want to make a great run? Okay, I'm with it. Make a great run. But when you're building championships, it's a different scenario. It's a different scenario. Look at Portland's backcourt with C.J. McCollum and Damon. Damon took them all the way to the door, but couldn't get paid. Couldn't open up the door. Couldn't open up the door. And that backcourt right there with McCollum and Damon Dash is Brunson and Spider better than that backcourt? No. So why are we doing it? And they didn't even get in. And they was the best at the small guard lineup. But when you don't build the team right, and I'm just talking about on my basketball knowledge of playing over 30 years. If you don't build the team right, yeah, you're going to have success during the season, which Spider had in Utah, winning 60 games, going to the playoffs. But then when you face that beast, you're going to get knocked out the door. And if Knicks fans can take that and don't blame anybody at the end of 7 years, okay, I'm with that. That's what we seen before. That Stoudemire, Francis, that was 2006. How quickly we forget that we threw all the chips on the tables and that handcuffed us for 15 years. It handcuffed us for 15 years because we picked the backcourt that was not ready, but we threw all the chips in it. Grimes is the prototypical two guard that's on a championship team. When you look at through the championships, that's the type of guard that you see, even though the center may be dominant. You know, he don't always have to be the number one scorer. But that 6'6" position is critical in NBA basketball. And when we throw that away, now Spider is not Mitchell at all. But that's the puzzle piece that fits. It fits. And if we're going to throw away all of that to change this whole backcourt just because the fans want an all-star, we are not being patient. If you didn't sign up, like I said before, if you didn't sign up for the rebuild, this is the time to get off the ship. Now you're separating the men from the boys because everybody who said that they signed up for this rebuild, now you see them jumping ship. So they was never for.
Hey, right. That ain't fair talking about separating the men from the boys, bro.
Okay.
You know, OG, come on, bro. You know we spend money.
And
we spend you was there. You know I spend money on the Knicks.
Yeah, but we talking about in basketball, not in grown man terms. In basketball,
I know what you're saying, but what I'm saying is you know I spend money on this, bro. I legit like you spending bread right now.
Yeah.
At some point, this thing has to pay off. At some
But
point, you
Spider's
got to
not in
celebrate.
2 years, and you looking for a payoff in 2 years. You can't even go in your pension right now.
No, I ain't.
You know what I'm saying? That's
Right,
what I'm
right,
saying.
right,
In
right.
2 years, we looking for a payoff in 2 years. Oh, now is the time. Now is the time. Now is not the time. Now is the time. Now look, if it doesn't cost us anything, if it doesn't, it might cost you something, but not everything. If it costs you a little bit, okay, you can do the experiment because you can move either one of them in a year or two. Okay, I'm with that. But throwing the farm at it, nah, not at all costs. This thing is not at all costs. This thing is methodical. It's planned. Okay, Danny Ainge, I'm not gonna blink because he want to be here. Because at 28, Donovan Mitchell at 28, we can still have. But we need something for him to come to. We have to have something that he can come to. And doing anything to get him, we will not have anything for him to come through. So in that turn, and just in that little small term, we don't want to repeat the mistake. You know, we the ones with the upper hand. If he want to leave, he wants to leave. Put the press, even if it takes to the All-Star break, whatever. Why does it have to be done now after we already picked the guard that we said will unlock RJ, that will unlock Obi? We all said that when we got him. So now they got to take another step back. Another one. I'm just not feeling it. I am totally not feeling it. I pondered it. I looked through it. I ran through the numbers. I did everything that I think that I needed to do. And nothing came back positive that getting Donovan Mitchell was going to work for us in the long term. It may give us some wins in the long term. We're going to wind up moving Brunson or moving him later on because that 6'6" position is the 6'5", 6'6" is what you need that can shoot. Now, RJ is interchangeable. He can play the 3. You know, Jimmy Butler plays the 3 at his height, and I think he'll be a better Jimmy Butler at the 3. So we got pieces in place with Cam there. Cam is something that we just need to see. You know, nothing you can throw away last year with Cam because Cam got hurt.
Right.
And he got hurt hustling.
Right.
He got hurt
it happens.
hustling.
It happens. It happens, bro.
And he was hustling. He was not doing anything. He was doing things outside his nature that he did in Atlanta.
But he wants to be here, Rob. This guy wants to be here. How many people say they want to come here? Who was the last one?
Just because you want to come here, now that you want to come here, now everybody wants to come because they see what we're doing. We're doing something right for the first time. For the first time, we're doing something right. But just because they want to come here, they don't want you to trade the whole team to get them there. They want you to be smart to get them there. And I think that Spider will be smart to get here. He ain't going to say, I want, like Melo was New York or bust. Or if I don't go to the Knicks, I'm going to Brooklyn. He just wanted out. That was a selfish move when you look back at it. Melo just wanted out because the contracts was coming out. LeBron and them, D-Wade, they told him, yo, chill. It's going to work itself out. Melo wanted the extension. That's what landed Melo in New York. Melo would have waited to the end of the year. Melo would have had something to play with without trading the whole team away for him. Melo didn't wait. So you can blame Melo for him not having the ring. Melo chased the money, and Melo got the money. But at the end of the day, that's why Melo don't got no rings and LeBron and Wade got rings. They didn't chase the money because they knew at the end of the day, the money would come with the rings. Melo chased the buck, and he got the buck. But now you sitting over there, now you chasing the ring. Hey, everybody else made sacrifices. Melo didn't. And I love Melo. That's my man.
Me too.
But Melo did not make the sacrifice for championship. Melo made the sacrifice because it was that they was going to go on strike. Melo was scared. I need my bread. Let me sign, get my extension. So whatever's going on in the strike, I'm still getting paid. Melo coming to New York wasn't about him loving the city. He chose Brooklyn. If we didn't do it, we would have wound up with Deron Williams, and Brooklyn would have wound up with Melo.
And we'd have wound up with Darren Williams and Mike D'Antoni together.
Yeah. And that would have probably been a better matchup. Then there would have been no Jeremy Lin. None of that. You wouldn't have never seen none of that. But that's all hypothetical though. But man, look, this thing right here in Nick Nation, nobody is wrong. When you got to develop, when you have to look at this point and see what the Knicks but look, we did this in 2 years. Leon Rose, no matter how much crap people was talking about him all year long, oh, they don't know what they doing. They put us in a position to do this. And I'm grateful for that.
But OG, what is this? What is this that you're talking about?
This is that we in a position to say, okay, we got the picks to do this. Most of the other time, we always been sitting on the sidelines. We couldn't do nothing. Wait a minute.
So are you acknowledging that the Knicks didn't have picks before Leon Rose?
Am I acknowledging that the Knicks didn't have picks? No, what I'm saying as far as the picks are concerned, when Steve Mills said we were no longer trading draft picks anymore, that set the table. So I would have to say that was Mills who set the table. Right. With that Porzingis thing, he set the table, but he wasn't around to benefit from it. Leon Rose just took it, he grabbed it, and he moved in that direction. So we at the like you say, they like Mark Jackson is with the Golden State Warriors. You can say that. Look, you didn't get the championship, but you the one who started it. So Steve Mills still get his props because he the one who said on national TV, we are no longer trading any more first round picks. And this is the benefit of that culture that he started.
Hey, Rob, it was actually Phil Jackson who said that while Mills was working for him, and Mills just kept it going.
Yeah, okay. But see, when Phil did it Phil said, but I think it was Steve Mills who said it.
Nah, Phil said it on TV, and then he when he hired Mills as his GM, and then when Mills took over once Phil got fired, he just kept the same rhetoric. If you let me chime in real quick about the patience thing, I will be 100% letting all these kids develop. The one caveat that I have is there's still no blue chipper that can develop with this young core for me to be like, okay, I'll let it rock. I'll let these young boys grow together. I can't have a bunch of role players growing together and still be like, okay, what's my next move? We're going to be mediocrity forever.
So RJ is a role player to you?
I don't see RJ as that top dog that's going to lead the Knicks to where they got to go. I think he could be a piece.
Okay, so right now in 2 years, guess what? Be happy with the pieces that you built in 2 years.
Yeah, but I can still have Spider and RJ.
Okay, so you have Spider and RJ and you trade away the rest of your team. Where you at then?
I can still build the same way I'm building now. The same way I found these guys.
No, because you're trading away all your picks.
Okay, but I'm trading away all the picks that I've acquired in 2 years. Every draft that Leon Rose has been a part of, he's traded back and gotten more assets. That is a fact.
Okay, yes.
Right?
Yes,
so
indeed.
The same way I have the confidence that Leon Rose can find a guy later on in the draft, because even if we trade our picks, we're going to still have picks every other year or still picks left over from the trade we just did.
So you saying every other year. So if you go every other year and this thing don't work, every other year he taking 8 picks. You talking about another 10 years down the line.
That's the rhetoric you want to put out there.
OG. So that's the thing. That's the point where I have my trepidation. It's because OGs like yourself say, if you make this major move and this thing don't work, we'll be stuck, right? Is that what you're acknowledging? You're saying if we trade for Donovan Mitchell and this thing don't work, we're stuck.
We stuck without a championship. Good playoff runs for the next couple years. Yeah, we stuck without a championship.
We stuck, right?
Yeah.
But where are we right now without Donovan Mitchell?
Without Donovan Mitchell right now, we building.
In my opinion, we're stuck.
We're stuck even worse.
How you stuck?
Because Quentin Grimes and Emmanuel Quickly together do not equal Donovan Mitchell.
That's true. Yes.
Look,
And
Quentin,
me
but look,
putting extra picks out there to get Donovan Mitchell, for
hey, look,
me, it makes me feel better knowing that a star can come over here and be like, you know what? I want to play with RJ and Donovan, right? It's not like this summer, nobody came over
Alrighty
and
then.
said, I'm going to go play with Quickly. I'm going to
but
go
you
play with
just
Grimes.
devalue,
I'm going to go play with
devalue,
Toppin. We got
you
Jalen
just,
Brunson because he's his godson,
all right,
not
look,
because of anybody in
hey,
our roster.
hey, look at here. You just devalue RJ 3 minutes ago. You don't think he's
I
a
did.
player. So
I didn't.
why
I
would
didn't do
somebody
that.
come?
I
No,
didn't do
he
that.
said, no, he said, no, he
You talking about
said,
Jay? You talking about Jay? You talking about Jay? Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I said it again. Nobody signed
Okay,
to the
so
Knicks
why
roster
would
in the
somebody
past
come?
couple of years because of RJ or anybody on our roster. Period.
Okay, so therefore, why would somebody want to come play with them? You just said one thing, and then you went to
I
the
said
next.
that having Donovan Mitchell on your roster and paying those extra picks to get Donovan entices a player if they want to go somewhere to be like, you know what, I want to play with Donovan Mitchell.
Yes, exactly.
But
I
you
I
said,
agree.
That's the course of business because it's
okay.
not about I'm giving up 5 picks for Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell makes the Knicks as a franchise very attractive.
That's
So
the
that's the
start
course
right
of
there.
business.
Hey, look,
It's not just
you
the
know what
player.
makes the Knicks
I
very
got a question. I got
attractive?
a question.
You know what?
Jay,
what makes the
how do
Knicks?
you know that though? How do you know that?
So Don P is right. You can't say what an NBA player is gonna like, especially when the landscape changes from every year and a half, right? But to Jay's defense, though, the trending was at one point that stars wanted to play together. That was the trend. We don't know if that's the case now, but at least for the past 10 years or so, the trend was
like
stars.
this the simplest way. Everybody thought Devin Booker was a loser because he never made it to the playoffs. CP3 goes to Phoenix. Now Phoenix is attractive. Shit
No, it
goes
wasn't.
burns
That was
down in
not what
Brooklyn.
made them attractive. You're
Brooklyn
wrong.
burns down. Now KD's saying, you know what? I want to go play with them boys in Phoenix.
But you're
Well,
wrong.
no,
He's
I think
wrong.
it's more that he want to play with Chris Paul.
No,
and not
this
Phoenix.
is what happened with the Phoenix thing. When Phoenix when y'all forgot when Phoenix went to the bubble and they won those 8 straight games, that showed Chris Paul that these kids is rocking.
It's for
That's
real.
why Chris Paul went. Because they went 8-0 in the bubble. They didn't lose a game in the bubble.
They was
Nobody
blowing teams
on
out.
the Knicks roster is close to Devin Booker. Period.
The next year, Chris Paul wasn't even on the team yet.
Nobody on the Knicks roster is close to Devin Booker.
Listen to what let me just dispel what you just said first. When they went 8-0 in the bubble, the next year, Chris seen that. And Chris said, yo, Phoenix is a fit. Let me get the Phoenix. And then that's when they was already on the rise. Chris Paul didn't take them on the rise.
Okay, Rob, why did Chris Paul say that Phoenix was a fit?
Because he seen them go 8-0 in the bubble.
Okay, but then they said that Leon Rose would have had Chris Paul here if there would have been fans in the stands. That's what they said. And then Chris Paul said, I'd rather be closer to LA to my family.
Yeah,
that's what was reported.
But look,
that's
if you see what Phoenix did, it was an easy choice. I'm already living in LA. Why am I going to New York? These boys just went 8-0 in the bubble, and if anybody would have lost one game, they would have been in the playoffs.
The relationship that Leon Rose had with Chris Paul, and it's a lot of smoke behind it. Chris Paul would have came to New York if we had fans in the stands. He did not want to come to New York. He did not want to come to New York and play in front of nobody. That
wasn't the point. The Garden stayed packed. But yeah, that was one thing.
That was the year after the bubble because there was nobody in the stands.
You don't think that 8-0 had anything to do with it? And they was on the rise.
No one's debating that. No one's debating that. Even after that 8-0 in the bubble, Chris Paul would have still came to New York.
No,
Chris Paul said no because he didn't want to play in front of an empty stadium. And he'd rather be closer to his family. Look it up. It's reported.
Yes, he said that. I'm not debating that he didn't say that. But when I'm saying it, when you look at the picture of how New York was on the rise. They had Ayton, they had Booker. And you look at the position
They
that New
had
York was.
Bridges.
And even after
They
all
had
that,
Bridges,
Chris Paul
and they
rather go to
signed
New
Jay
York.
Crowder.
No, he
He-
didn't. Chris Paul rather go to New
It was
York.
stacked.
Other than that, Chris Paul was not. No, Chris Paul was looking at a championship. He's
Rob,
seen in the.
Rob,
Seen
you
in a
you
couple
you
years.
just told me that you understood that he said that. Chris Paul
Yes,
would have
he
still
did.
came to New York.
But when you
Even
talk
after
to them,
all those players, what they had in Phoenix. No one's debating what you're saying about Phoenix. All I'm saying is the way Chris Paul saw New York because of Leon Rose is the same way other stars that has a connection with Leon Rose can be like, yeah, I'll
Brandon,
come to New
I'm with
York.
you.
So go play with Donovan and RJ and all these boys.
So guys, what's your point?
rings,
What's the point? What's the point of all of
like
this?
my thing is this here. We started one where we went totally somewhere else. My thing is this here. When you get to be an older player in the NBA, rings count because that's your legacy. And if he was going to come to New York, he was not thinking about a ring. And the move that he made showed me that he was thinking about a ring. But I can tell you for face value that I'm not going to diss the New York fans, and I'm not going to diss Leon Rose. Leon, I would have came here.
But we was talking about two young cores, and now we talking about Chris Paul decision.
Okay, yeah. All right. So the young core, like I said, the young core is like what I said. What we did before was the start of it. With them being a year removed, they being a year removed. So it's still the same thing, Freezy. It's nothing different. That's still part of it because Frank was on the same team that Mitch is on right now.
Right.
He just one that got moved. That he got one that we let go.
Okay.
So when you talk about a young core, once you started drafting, because the Knicks haven't had draft picks in a minute. Once we started drafting, we started.
But OG, that's not true. We giving Leon Rose credit for something that is not true. First of all, the draft pick thing is not true, right? Steve Mills and Scott Perry pulled off the Porzingis trade, which got us future draft picks off the rip. That was the previous regime, right? That was the previous regime that did that. So when Leon Rose and them got here, they didn't start this draft pick accumulation. The draft pick accumulation was already in place, like Jay said.
Yep.
But look, you look at this is what you forget. The person that did that Porzingis thing when he pulled that up, that was Scott Perry. Scott Perry's still here.
Right. Yeah.
So you can't say the previous, you can't say that because it's one player, it's one person in that previous regime that when Leon Rose came into that he kept. And that's Scott Perry. Scott Perry is the one who pulled off the trade.
Right. Okay.
Mills was just in charge of it, but when Scott Perry came in, he had the connections to get it done. Same regime.
Yeah.
Same regime.
Yep.
Well, it's not the same regime because the team president changed, bro.
But if you allowed him to make that move, and then you got fired, and then the new regime,
was Brock Allah here? Was Brock Allah here with Scott Perry? No. Was Walt Perrin here?
No.
With Scott Perry?
No.
Was Gersas was Rohan Gosas here? Rosas here? No.
No,
This
but who
regime is
controlled
different,
all that?
bro.
Only one person controlled all that to say who goes and who stays, and that was Leon Rose. And he decided to keep the guy who pulled the trigger on
because Scott Perry's a good executive. That's why he kept him, basically. Whether he likes the move that he did or not, Scott Perry is an excellent front office executive.
But if I came in there and I didn't like what you did with Porzingis, and I thought that Porzingis could have stayed, I would have let you go because he let everybody else go.
Scott Perry and William Wesley are very tight. We forget about the connection there too.
Yeah. And matter of fact, William Wesley wasn't here with Scott Perry before, right? Hey, Ron, look, what's good, bro?
Hey, look, flash that light again, Freezy, because we getting off the ball again.
I'm good, y'all. I don't know, something's going on with my camera. I don't know, it's not showing me, but whatever. Y'all know I'm here. Freezy. I don't listen. Hold on. Let me say something real quick to Freezy personally. Freezy, you know I rock with you. I definitely love supporting you and your show, brother. I would never want to do anything to compromise that or to disrupt what you got going on. But there is something I wanted to address that has nothing to do with you particularly or anybody on this panel, but more so something with someone in your chat. And I like, if you tell me don't say nothing, I won't say nothing.
Is it somebody in everybody's chat or just this one?
It's somebody in this chat. That's the problem. If he was in my chat, I'd tell him in my chat or on another show. But I've only seen him here on your show. He came to my show today to say something, and I just wanted to address it because I seen him in your chat a little while ago.
Okay.
It's real quick. I'll be honest. I ain't trying to disrupt nothing. This is all about respect. So if you allow me, I'll say it real quick. I'm done. I'm here rocking with y'all. I'm listening to the conversation. You got something good going. I just think there's a level of respect that we all need to have for each other. That's it.
Okay. All right. All right.
So all I wanted to say is, if you have a problem with anybody who is on my show, and I'll be honest, I'm switching my camera. I'm not scared of showing my face when I'm talking, but I can't. I don't know what's going on. It's just my logo. You got a problem with anybody on my show, then you have a problem with that man. That man has a show. You can go on that man's show and say whatever you want to say in that man's chat. Don't come to my show blasting anybody on my show and then try to call my show trash. Now, the only reason why I came here to do this on Freezy's show, because you rock with Freezy and you be in his chat. So I'm letting you know I'm talking about you. And because I don't know if you're still here, I'm talking about Big Dilf or whatever the hell your name is. That was some corny stuff you did. That's it. I just gotta let it be known that I'm talking to you, and you know who you are. And I wouldn't do that to nobody else. I support and rock with everybody. Don't do that and come on my show and do that, because you don't know how that's being perceived and affecting people in my chat that have nothing to do with the hell you're talking about. So that's it. That's all I got to say, Freezy. I'm here. I'm gonna go back into the chat and rock with y'all. This is a Rob the Nick conversation. I love it. Rob is Robin.
Original gangster.
Yeah, that's I feel you. Okay.
All right, that's
hey,
pretty much it, y'all.
Look, man. I'm not feeling what just happened.
I appreciate you, brother, but like I said, it got nothing to do with you or anybody else on the panel. You guys keep rocking, doing your thing, man.
Right. Yeah. Hey, man. I'm gonna call you after this.
All right. Later, bro.
Okay. That thing, man. Man, people got to be more respectful of panelists and all that stuff, man, and what people are doing. Like we look like Ron, man. Ron them put together an excellent product, bro.
Yeah.
Ron them do excellent work, man. They be here for the people, man, to have these Knicks conversations. I'm frustrated that he's upset like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's one of them things, man, where you put in so much work and try to be there for the Knicks fans. You know what I'm saying? I just wish that whole thing would have happened different. But I get that a lot too. I get that a lot, man. So yeah, I'm sorry about whatever happened to, because I didn't see it. I didn't see what happened or whatever. But when you open up to the open up the gates to a lot of people, sometimes people are gonna have do their thing and be disrespectful. And I hate that that Ron feel that way, and that person did whatever. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and I don't want to be the parser of beef. That ain't my thing. You know what I'm saying? Like the parser of beef. So man, listen, if y'all got like some beef stuff, we just try to keep that away from here. This is a safe place. This is where the homies come hang out and talk Knicks. Hey, so OG, back to the conversation, man. I feel what you're saying. I do feel what you're saying, bro. I feel what you're saying. But at what point did you just get frustrated with not making progress? We talking about 50 years of not winning a championship, and you telling me to be patient just a little while longer.
I'm not really saying be patient. I'm just saying, look, man, don't skip steps.
I feel you.
This is the development year for these boys. Everybody that we drafted that's on this team right now, like I said before, we're done with player acquisition. Now we got to see 1 year what these kids can do by themselves. Everybody else is gone. You know what I'm saying? That's going to hamper. That's going to stop growth for everything. Everybody else is gone. And this would be the first year. If these kids put 44 wins on the table, every all-star with a contract, they're going to be trying this, because everybody going to say that every superstar in the NBA, if you win 44 games, going to say, well, I'm plus 15. That's why Durant chose Brooklyn instead of New York. They won 44 games and made the playoffs. We won 17, and everybody think they coming to us.
And he kicked everybody off that team.
You know what I'm saying? I would have, if I was Durant, I would have chose Brooklyn too. If I'm gonna be in New York,
And he kicked everybody off that team that won them those 44 games, right?
Yeah.
Except what you needed. They needed a shooter. And they took everything else. So we want to do it. And then look, sometimes, man, look, I think like me, I believe in karma. I think karma should be a religion. But in karma, I think like this here. When I've seen that when Kevin McHale gave Kevin Garnett to the Boston Celtics and they won the title, that was like, oh my God, look what the GM did. LeBron turned around and got get back. That was get back. Everybody else that tried it after that, it didn't work.
It failed. Yep.
It didn't work because the karma was over. It was 1-1. You can't keep look, it's hard work. To achieve anything in life, you got to put in the hard work. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, I think if we just try to skip a step, we're not putting in the work. We're not putting in the development. And it's just me. And I've been a Knicks fan for over 50 years. So, and this is the first time in the history of the Knicks that they got to right here to this level right now with the players. There's good players that everybody, all these players in New York that play for the Knicks, all the young players, they all got their own highs. You got the Kobe high, you got the Obi high, you got the Quickly high, you got the Grimes high, you got the McBride high. When the last time you seen that in New York with young players? Never. And right now, while we at the cusp of it, we want to just blow it up.
Rob, I would have zero problem keeping all these kids together. My problem is I need that centerpiece that is going to help us get to the next level.
I understand you totally. And what I have to say to that is this year. Why you need it after 2 years of this team as the core being together? This is year 2 of the rebuild. Do you need it right now? Why you can't get it next year?
Because we don't know what's available next year. We're not going to be. We're not going to be that bad to get it in either free agency or the lottery.
But look, the front office showed you in any round, in any position, you give me a pick, we do our due diligence to get a good one. And the NBA is recognizing that our front office ain't no joke when it comes to picking players. That's why they want them all.
Rob, to win legit in this league, we don't need good players. We need great players. And then we can have a bunch of good players around or double or maybe even 3 great players.
Okay, but
that's our problem. We're stuck trying to find the one great player.
Hey, great players are on the Knicks right now.
Hey, look, LeBron and Davis, it was 2 great players, 3 great players, spending $150 million. They didn't even make the playoffs. They didn't even make the playoffs.
If the Knicks would give me that one chip that they won, I would have been dumb happy.
Oh, so look, you can't be selfish like that, bro.
Hey, Jay, let me ask you a question. Was you a part of that crowd that was rolling the farm for Ivy, for Jaden Ivy?
You said what?
I couldn't hear you. Say what?
I said, was you a part of the crowd who wanted to trade the farm for Jaden Ivy?
Not trade the farm, but I wanted to trade for Ivy.
Who was you willing to trade for Ivy?
OB, IQ, not altogether, but any of those guys in the package, yeah, I would have done anybody.
So you was willing to trade the farm?
That's not the farm. I just said a package, not everybody.
So all right. So you would specifically, you would.
If I could have figured out a way, if they told me, listen, Grimes and IQ for Jalen Ivey, I'm like, yeah, done deal.
And let me ask you a question. Why?
Because I feel like a legit talent, an elite talent in the NBA is what helps you to the next level.
Right.
We don't have that guy that's gonna help us get to the next level.
All right. So
did you know that in the first round of the NCAA tournament, he got knocked out and scored 9 points?
Okay.
So what makes him that talent? Just because have you watched him? No, I'm not disrespecting your basketball acclimate. But besides from what you heard on TV, did you watch this guy?
Yeah, I seen Jimmy Fredette go crazy in the tournament, and
We're
he's
not
done
talking
nothing in
about.
the
I know.
NBA.
We're not talking about for that.
But
We're
that's why I
talking
can't. But
about.
that's why I can't. Those little arguments don't really mean much because it's a one
No,
extreme
I
one
just
way,
asked you.
and
Did
it
you
could be one
watch him?
extreme in another way. He
No,
has
this
a
is what.
skill. He has a skill set in the
But
open
did
court
you
in the
watch him?
NBA that it's an advantage.
Hey, look, I understand all of that, but the question I'm asking you: did you watch him play, or did
Yes,
you
I
just
did.
listen to it? All right. Have you watched more than 10 games?
Yes, I did.
Okay. All right. So, and that's what I'm saying. So you evaluate him to be that talent like that?
Yes, because the
I don't.
college game is a lot different than the
Yes, it
NBA
is.
game.
But from like I said, when you watched him, you think that he's that guy. I watched him. I think he's not.
Okay, because I told you the one trait that he has that nobody else in our team has. He has an elite trait that nobody in our team, maybe besides Obi, has an elite trait with his athleticism. Besides that, who else in our team has an elite trait?
Okay,
So what's so you
I'm going in a different direction. Let me ask this. For all the assets that a lot of Knicks fans, because we are split, for all the assets that we're willing to trade to get Donovan Mitchell, why can't we use half of them assets or just as much to get something in a draft that's reputed to be way stronger than the draft that just happened?
We spoke about that before the draft started. I believe a couple of podcasts with Freezy. We were saying it's cheaper to get those talents in the draft. I just don't know why Leon didn't do it. I would have been okay having the team we have now with Ivy and not pursuing Donovan, because we would have had a core with an elite talent.
But you know that Ivy is a 2, right?
Yeah, I know Ivy's a 2.
Okay, so we was gonna run him at the point.
Okay.
More development, more laying around, more playing people out of position. Again,
I can't say that for sure because they've been made it pretty clear they're going after Jalen Brunson.
Yo, but they know they made it pretty clear that when they couldn't get to Ivy was going to be on the look. When he went to Detroit put him right at the 2. We was going to try to put him, and we was going to try to make him a 1.
Yeah, maybe they had a plan for him.
That's mismanagement of talent. Let him do what he do, and let's see what he do. Let's see what he do, because right now he was worth trying, but he wasn't worth the farm. He's not a generational talent. He's a good guy.
This is my problem when you say worth the farm. What is the farm? The farm that everybody keeps talking about is guys on our bench. That's not even in our starting rotation.
They in the starting rotation this year.
I can't figure out why you guys keep saying the farm.
Okay,
the farm.
What's
the farm if we're keeping RJ? RJ's our pillar right now.
Maybe they're talking about the draft picks too. Maybe.
Look, you got to form a team. And no matter why you on the bench, you're a 6-man. They give a 6-man of the year award in case you didn't know. And that's in the 6-man, Manu Ginobili is going to the Hall of Fame as a 6-man. So you really can't just look at a 6-man.
What 6-man of the year has won you a championship?
Ginobili got 5.
Because he played with Tim Duncan, one of the best power forwards of all time.
So you thought Tim Duncan could do that
by
by
himself? I want to get an elite talent. And you can get these other pieces to win. It's not that hard.
But you still have to have a team. You still have to have a team.
Tim Duncan, the best power forward probably of all time. Of course, everybody else is going to look good next to him.
He still had a team.
If I got to give up Grimes quickly because I can find those players every year in the draft.
But look, Donovan Mitchell is not Tim Duncan.
No one is saying that.
No one said that. He's a different player.
You can't change the conversation.
He is. Look, we're talking about a talent that got knocked out, win 60 games, and get knocked out in the first round in 3 different years. We're talking about a talent before he got there. They still was in the playoffs. So it wasn't like Donovan Mitchell was taking his team to the playoffs. They was in the playoffs before he got there. And he scored 30 points and he averaged and all of this, and they still can't get out the first round. What does that tell you? That's what I'm saying. This man went to the look. He's a talent. I'm not saying that he's not. but he's undersized at his position. He scored 50 points against the guy that he was checking, scored 50 points, and he still lost the game. What are you saying?
So now
These
we
things
want a guy
matter.
that plays off our bench, but we're going to say no to a guy who scored 57 points in a playoff game. Is that
And
what you're
lost.
trying to? But that's what you're trying. That's what you're trying to tell me, that you don't want a talent like that and figure out how to make that work. But you'd rather have
But
guys
the
sitting
guy,
on our bench.
no,
But
the
he
guy
didn't
that
have
he was
much help.
playing
Who do
against
Utah
had
have, though?
52.
Gobert?
So look, no, when you break it down like this here, he had 57. The guy he checked had 55.
Let me make something
was
clear. When
still
I say Donovan Mitchell should be on the Knicks, that doesn't mean he's going to lead us to a championship. You start building from there because you
He's
have
a piece.
a talent.
A piece.
He's a damn talent. You build from there. We're not winning the championship year
Julius
one.
Randle is a talent.
Okay, Rob, he's 25 years old. You have more than enough time. The kid
Julius
is not
Randle,
even in his
27.
He's not even in his prime yet. In 2 years, you don't know who's available. Next year, you don't know
Hey,
who's
look,
available. Things in
you
the
know what I
NBA
noticed
change
about
real
his prime?
quick.
This
If
is
you
what I
add an
noticed.
elite talent next to Donovan Mitchell, you got a hell of a 1-2 punch.
Hey,
Yes.
look here.
Donovan Mitchell's your second guy.
This is what I noticed about his prime. I noticed in the playoffs, he got a hamstring injury, and they don't never go away for a whole career. That's what I noticed about his prime. That's what I noticed. I noticed that he shot 21% from 3-point. I noticed that he shot 41% from the field. That's what I noticed. Did you notice that?
You're talking about this playoffs that just passed, Rob?
Exactly.
So you're telling me he put up bad stats because you just mentioned he was injured, right?
No, because the hamstring injuries don't go away. Ask Derrick Rose.
Oh, my God.
Ask Derrick Rose. When you follow basketball like me, look, you look at the little intangible things.
So, Rob, I don't understand. Do you want to have a conversation or you want to throw shots? Because if we're going to have a conversation, we can have it. But now you're trying to say that I don't watch basketball because you watch more than 10 games of Jaden Ivey.
No, I'm not saying that.
Derrick Rose had knee issues and ankle issues, not a hamstring issue. So you telling me I don't watch basketball? I'm like kind of scratching my head.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm sorry you got that from that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, did you notice that happened? I didn't say that you don't watch. I said, did you notice it?
Okay, Derrick Rose had knee and ankle issues, not a hamstring.
Look, hamstrings too. Hamstrings too. You can add that to him. He had hamstrings too. Earlier before the knee, it was hamstrings. That's where it started at. It started at the hamstring.
I don't want to go too far left or too far right. My only thing is this. If I already had a Donovan Mitchell on, if RJ Barrett was already showing me signs that he can be a tier 1 elite guy, I'm not trading nobody because I would like all those guys to grow with RJ. But I'm in the pursuit of a blue chipper, a tier 1 guy. Once I get that tier 1 guy, I will start rebuilding again because it's not that hard to find the players that I have on my roster right now. Case in point, every year I can find a Grimes. Desmond Bane was late in the draft. Cam Thomas was late in the draft. I can find Quickly every year. Maxey is better than Quickly. I found him in the draft. Trey Mann is a very good guard. I can find him in the draft every year.
He's got a point, Rob. He's got a point.
But this is the point. I can find these guys because they're scorers. They're 3-and-D guys. I can't find an elite guy every year.
That's true.
See, it depends on what you call.
Nobody wants to come here.
I don't think that what you call elite is what I call elite. Because to me, Donovan Mitchell is an all-star. He's not a superstar.
You know what? We don't have that on our roster as of right now. We don't have a 25-year-old, 26-point per game scorer, 3-time All-Star in the Western Conference when even Devin Booker couldn't make the All-Star teams unless somebody got hurt.
Look at here. Okay, so what does that tell you? Who picks the All-Star?
He's good, at least. He's very good.
No, that tells me fans pick All-Stars. People like us pick All-Stars.
He didn't go in with the fan vote. He didn't go in with the fan vote.
Who? Donovan Mitchell went in with the fan vote.
No, he did not. Look it up, Rob.
Yes, he did. Look, Devin Booker didn't go in with the fan vote.
What's up, gents?
Yo, what's good?
Donovan Mitchell went in with the fan vote.
What's up, Anthony?
Yeah, I jumped on real quick for one question, Rob. Rob,
go ahead. Hold on, Anthony. Before you go, Anthony, Rob, I'm not trying to come at you. I just want to have a conversation about it. That's all.
Okay, hey, look, bro, your baby, you know it's all good, baby.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that's clear. But my bad, Anthony. You good?
Yeah. No doubt. Hey, look, man, you know, there ain't no hard feelings, man.
First 4 years of a cat in the playoffs. I mean, not making the playoffs in his career. First 4 years. You said what's the DM got knocked out? Man, yes, I'm talking about. That's not a good record. It's not a good sign. It's actually a very bad sign. You know why? Because it happened to one of my boys. This cat, man, this guy, what's his name? Michael Jordan. Oh yeah, Michael Jordan. He actually got swept his 4th year. So yeah, his first 4 years. I'm just saying. I don't want to.
But see, the thing is this.
Yo, you just freezing.
This is what you fail to mention.
I came SWAT.
Utah was in the playoffs. Yep. Utah was in the playoffs the year that before they drafted Donovan. Michael Jordan took a playoff team that wasn't in the playoffs. So that's a whole different animal.
Yo, the 4th year, they had a 39 and 50.
No, what I'm saying,
they had 39. They had the worst playoff qualified record.
You must have didn't hear what I said. Let me repeat what I said.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying year 1 you make it. Let's say I understand what you're saying. Okay, they were in the playoffs, but Michael took them to the playoffs for year 1 or year 2, then year 3, then the 4th year they had like a less than 500 record and got swept in the first round in the 4th year. So I'm just saying the trajectory was not looking good. He came in he popped up real good. They looked nice, and boom, 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 bam, got crushed in that 4th year.
The 4th year,
and it started to mesh a little bit because he didn't have players around him. He was looking for a cat.
Look, but you got to repeat what you said. I didn't. Can you say that again? I didn't hear what you said.
I'm just saying that so he came in and he took them to the playoffs, and then, but slowly but surely, kind of got a little worse. And then eventually came with a less than 500 record to make the playoffs and got swept in his 4th year until a cat the next year. They put a better team together around him, and boom, he started clicking.
Michael Jordan didn't make the playoffs his first year. Michael Jordan didn't go to the playoffs his first year. Second year. Okay. Okay, so what that has to do with Donovan Mitchell? When Donovan Mitchell's team before he got there made the playoffs, that's a whole different scenario.
But they weren't getting worse through the 4th year. Last year they were still a solid team. They weren't the worst team than they were year 2, 3, and 4.
But I'm trying to figure out what that had to do.
No, my point is that using that narrative is not a whole picture, because sometimes the team around you and the coach you have, other factors, or the teams who are actually in the playoffs right now determine your outcome and your destiny. Or who you in the first round.
Let me say this.
That narrative a little bit, because that's
let me say this. Before Donovan Mitchell got there, they was 51 and 31. And they went to the playoffs.
I'm just saying,
Chicago was a lottery team.
And guess what?
When you try to compare those two things, I'm not saying where you're going, because what I'm saying is this here. They was a lottery team. He added to a good team. The only thing that Donovan Mitchell was able to accomplish with Utah is taking a 51-1 team and do his tenure with them is win 60 games.
Right, I understand.
When he went to the playoffs, there was no difference. Just like Atlanta. Atlanta had the same type of team with Horford. They had the same type of team with Horford. They didn't get to go nowhere. So you compare Michael Jordan to that situation.
Real quick. So Rob, you justify my point even more. Okay, let's take Michael Jordan's first year away compared to DM's. But Michael Jordan's 3rd year, after they went to the playoffs, a 3rd year Michael Jordan is an awesome player, right? So let's go from that point. From that point in your 3rd year, the team you have that you've been playing with, that mesh with, chemistry and your experience and your skills improved, that you become one of the best players in the entire league. You're averaging 30+ points a game. And then you're telling me after that 2nd year of making the playoffs, year 3, you still got beat in the first round. Then wait a second, year 4, you got worse You didn't get better. You didn't even maintain. You got worse and you got swept in the playoffs. So I'm saying that the narrative about whether he maintained the playoffs or he got a little bit better or he didn't do much difference is not a narrative that applies if you look at the whole picture that Michael Jordan, 5th year and 4th year of making the playoffs, his team got worse and they got swept. So it's the other factors are who was he playing in the first round? Who was playing around him in the teams that were around him? I mean, DM came up in a league with the Golden State Warriors, who can be competitive with the Bulls. They're looking at the Golden State Warriors and the Bulls as the matchup as the guys, and then Giannis comes up, and you're like, whoa, how do you even make the finals with cats like that? And of course, LeBron era was still active. For the past 4 years, he's in that circle. That's very difficult to define as why his team didn't succeed. Just like anybody who played in the 80s when Magic and Bird are flourishing, then the bad boys come and just beat you up. So you forget about basketball, they just beat you up. And then Michael Jordan comes up and you start to say, oh, you didn't win anything in the 80s. Even Patrick Ewing's non-championship is not actually justifying Patrick not winning a ring. But you can also say Patrick grew up in Michael Jordan's era. And then Akeem was there when Michael wasn't. So you can't judge necessarily by their team record unless you look at what they built around him. And built around Donovan Mitchell was no 20-point scorer to match him. He didn't have a Pippen. He had a Gobert, but he didn't have someone to run that floor and score with him. So I'm just saying.
Okay, so what I'm going to say to that is.
Right about the things you're saying.
Okay, so look, this is what I'm going to say to that.
Go ahead.
That you totally, you're not addressing. So maybe you'll address it when I say it again. They won 51 games and lost 31 the year before Donovan Mitchell got there.
Yes.
Their record was 51 and 31. Okay, they was in the playoffs. So building around Donovan Mitchell was not the point. The point was this here. How can you add to these 51 games we won the year before? What they did was they gave him the starting job, and through his tenure in Utah, they won 60 games. So therefore, it wasn't about surrounding him with players. They already had the players. They already had them.
Yeah, but the presence of Donovan Mitchell made those other players a lot better. And Freezy pointed it out earlier today on the morning drive that Rudy Gobert was like an 8-9 point per game scorer. Donovan Mitchell goes there. Year one, he's up to 14, 15 points a game. The gravity of having that tier elite player, it matters a lot.
But look,
now, Rob, I heard you before mentioning about the backcourt size. Let me ask you this. Would you be shocked if the Boston Celtics win the NBA championship this year?
If they would I be shocked when they had a 6'5" shooting guard?
No. Like this year right now, going into this year.
No.
Would you be shocked?
No.
Okay. Do you know their backcourt is going to consist of Marcus Smart and Brogdon?
And who?
Brogdon and Marcus Smart, right?
Yeah, Brogdon is 6'7".
Brogdon's not no 6'7".
Man, you better look it up. He's 6'6" plus.
Brogdon's not no 6'7".
Look it up, man. I'm not gonna argue with you about that. You can look that up. Brogdon is at least 6'5", 6'6". Brogdon is not a small guy. He is not a small guy.
Brogdon is 6'5". Marcus Smart is about 6'2", 6'3", correct?
No, Marcus Smart is a legit 6'4", bro.
Marcus Smart is
that's what it is. Yeah,
he's 6'4", bro.
And how big is Brogdon?
Possible backcourt.
I would give Brogdon about
6'1". Donovan Mitchell is 6'1".
All right, so check this out. Do you know his first 2-3 years in the league, Donovan Mitchell had the same defensive rating as Marcus Smart?
Okay,
so I don't know what happened the past couple of years. I don't know what happened the past couple of years that he just stopped playing defense.
Everything that you're saying. Hey, look, this is not about defense. This is what I'm saying right here. The last small backcourt to win an NBA championship was damn near 40 years ago, and that's after they changed the rules. That was before they changed the rules. When they had hand checking allowed, Joe Dumars and Isaiah Thomas was the last small tandem to win. Once they took out hand checking, there was no tandem in NBA for the last 40 years that won a championship. Now, if you want to make good playoff runs, let me just say this. If you want to make good playoff runs and that's what you're looking for, okay, I feel you. But if you're talking about championship basketball, we're talking about something totally different. That's all. That's my whole argument right there.
I
Now,
just can't.
anybody,
I can't sit here and say
team,
I don't want Donovan Mitchell or his talent because he's 6'3" as a shooting guard.
No, that's not what I said. Look, this is what I'm saying. If I don't care, but once you commit to enough,
Rob, you breaking up.
Broke up there, Rob.
to win championships. To win championships. That's my whole thing. My whole thing when I talk about the Knicks is not good playoff run. A lot of people in Knicks Nation, that's all they want to do is be in the playoff. That's cool. That's cool. Mine's is championship.
Okay,
and
cool.
and I find out that
if I showed you that Donovan Mitchell had the same defensive rating as Marcus Smart, and I seen Smart guard our 7'3" Porzingis in the post, I seen him guard guys in the perimeter, I seen him guard everywhere. I just can't sit here with confidence and say, you know what, this guy's gonna hurt me in the playoffs because he's small.
Hey Jay, that's kind of deceptive, man, low key, because Donovan Mitchell defense was good during his first 2 years in the NBA.
Yeah, and I don't know what happened. To be honest with you, I don't know what happened to him.
Oh, so you're kind of judging Donovan Mitchell what he did earlier in his career. And we don't know that the athleticism that he had in the beginning of his career.
Facts that are not true. Accurate. Like you said, Donovan Mitchell is the guy we're trying to get this.
Somebody got some background going on.
Is it me? Do I got feedback?
I don't know. I was hearing like somebody talking in the back.
I'm good.
Yeah, it was Anthony A. Here's my thing, man. Like Donovan Mitchell, like again, he's no scrub. My argument is not about having him on the team per se. It's about what we're willing to give up, right? And my whole thing is, y'all say that Donovan Mitchell is this elite top tier dude. We had this conversation yesterday. Is Donovan Mitchell on the same level as a prime Dwayne Wade? If y'all think that, then by all means, I can understand your argument. But if he's not that dude, then I don't understand why we're willing to trade away. While some of you
he's not Wade. He's not Wade at all.
Yeah,
that man is not Wade.
But see, that's
Dwayne Wade was a more complete player. But again, if we're having a conversation of comparing a guy to a Hall of Famer, what are we doing then?
No, we're not. I'm comparing Donovan Mitchell to Dwayne Wade at the same age. You can't do that. If he's a top 10 star, then he's a top 10 star, right? So we got to compare them at the same age. What was Dwayne doing?
Dwayne Wade was a much different player than Donovan Mitchell.
What kind of player is Donovan Mitchell? What's his playing style?
Man,
he's a better shooter than Wade.
Oh yes, that's the only thing you got over Wade.
I see him more crafty.
More crafty? Okay.
Yeah, more crafty. I like getting to the rack. He's more crafty. Okay. But Wade was so strong getting to the rack, man. Wade had a post-up game.
What about his defense? What about Wade's defense throughout his whole career?
That's the thing. Dwayne Wade was always, to me, an elite defender. Donovan Mitchell came in as a very good defender. I don't know what happened to him the past couple of years. I can't sit here and say I don't know why, but I know it's in him. I've seen him do it.
You sound like me when I talk about Cam.
Crazy, you got some super chats or something coming on across the screen.
A super chat. Nobody read the super chat. I was talking to Ron from Still Knicks Fans, man, behind the scene. I just had to talk to him briefly. You know what I'm saying? Just want to. You said some super chats?
I don't know if it come up across the screen. I don't know if they super chats. It say I seen Quiet Money name come across, and then Geraldine. I don't know if they super chats or not.
Let me see. I'm looking back through it right now, just real quick. Let me see.
I could be wrong though, but
I was checking for them. I ain't see no super chats.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah, I don't see none. Was it just me highlighting comments?
yeah. That was you. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I thought
because
that was a super chat.
I was highlighting comments earlier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. No, I didn't see one. Yeah, man. The chat is all over y'all, bro. The chat is like, what y'all talking about, man? the chat is like, yo, yes, the chat like, what y'all talking about, man? So ACWC, what's good, bro?
Man, what's good? What's good, Uncle Freezy? What's good, panel and chat? You know I'm ready to eat, like always.
That's UCW. I thought you were state,
yeah,
bro.
Yeah. Man, y'all woke me up. Y'all woke me up out of my bat cave, the mystery cave. Man, let me tell you something. Okay, to get Mitchell, all right. I want to keep our young core, but to keep Mitchell, I'll give up 2 young players and 4 to 5 draft picks. That's it. If Danny ain't don't like that, he could kick rock. Cause I ain't giving up all my young core for one guy. That's nonsense.
What young core are you talking about?
Really, Uncle the ham sandwich.
Yeah, what young core are you talking about? Just be specific.
I'm talking about Grimes, McBride, Obi. I would say Cam. He's still young, and RJ.
Would the Utah Jazz take Grimes, McBride, and Obi straight up for Donovan Mitchell?
No, they want draft picks too. Why
would they want draft picks if that young core was so valuable?
They're valuable to us. Listen, Danny ain't trying to fleece us. He's trying to fleece us. We ain't going for that.
Quickly. They wanted Obi, Grimes, and Quickly and the picks.
Hey, check this out. Hey, Rob, check this out. The latest news, guess who they wanted? They wanted RJ. They wanted RJ, Mitch Robinson, and 3 draft picks.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that. I retweeted that on Twitter. On Twitter.
Nah, they ain't happening, yo. They ain't happening.
Okay.
He could get rocked. Hey, he need us more than we need him. So we got Brunson. We got a point guard. We got Brunson.
CWC.
Come on now.
Would you be mad if we didn't get Donovan Mitchell?
No, I wouldn't be mad. Because I know the front office tried. But Danny ain't trying to be greedy. Come on, man.
CWC, would you be mad if you come here next year and Donovan Mitchell's in the Heat and they're kicking our ass and you're going to complain what we're going to do to take the next step?
No, I ain't going to complain.
So you're going to be happy the next couple years.
Why can't we kick their ass? Why can't we beat them?
You'll be happy.
Why can't we beat them, though?
Hey, y'all keep repeating the same thing over and why you keep repeating?
Oh, my bad. Who is that? Go ahead.
I'm saying, would you be happy being the same place where we are today next year? 11th pick, 12th pick? Not out the playoffs?
I wouldn't be mad if Donovan Mitchell went to Miami Heat, but I know the front office tried to get Donovan Mitchell.
That's not my question. Would you be happy if we had the same year we had last year, not in the playoffs or not really in the lotto? You're basically in no man's land. Would you be happy with that again?
It's called developing. I like to develop our young core.
Would you be happy with the same product we just saw?
Yeah, I'd be happy with the same squad that we had last year.
So you'll be okay.
Now, would I trade Fournier and Derrick Rose? Yes. And guess who I would trade them for? And 2 young and some draft picks. I would trade them for OG, a defensive player, a wing player.
What makes you think Toronto wants that when you don't even want to trade 2 of your bench guys for a 3-time All-Star under 20? That's 25.
No, they want 4 young guys and some draft picks.
Of course they want 4. That don't mean there's gonna. This is what I'm trying to explain to everybody. They can ask for 4. We're not gonna give them the 4, but this is where negotiation comes in. So we can't freak out just because they asked for 4. We already saw where they started at. It was Mitch, RJ, and 3 picks. We said no. So now they moved down to those 4 guys and more picks because they got to compensate for the lesser value of the players.
So
we said no. So now, last time I checked, it was the Derrick Rose contract that they want because it's an expiring. And now they took out, what was it, Deuce out of it, and now they're just focusing on Grimes mostly out of everybody, and maybe IQ or Obi. So we can't freak out just because they asked for 4. They're still negotiating because it's not done yet. But we're gonna have to give up.
Oh yeah, I know it's not done yet. I know.
This is why I just don't understand. What are we complaining about?
Right.
What are we complaining about? They want to fleece us. That's what we complain about.
What is fleecing us? These guys are not even starting for your team.
Oh, giving the whole farm. Giving the whole farm.
What's the farm? Everybody was so worried 2 weeks ago about giving up RJ, and they don't even want RJ. And we're still crying?
I love RJ.
Okay, but
I love
we're
RJ
going to
and
keep
Grimes.
RJ. That's the point.
Jay,
what are we crying about?
Jay, with all due respect, I just proved the point yesterday that not everybody looks at Donovan as name. You look at Donovan as more of an elite player than I do. So that's why I have my reservations about Donovan Mitchell. I'm not saying he's a scrub. I just have my reservations about him. No, I'm not trading away quickly Obi, Quentin Grimes for Donovan Mitchell. Of course not. Not for somebody who could just score for us. We just established that for the most of his career, he's not playing good defense. You could argue in the first 2 years, he did play good defense. But in the last and for most of his career, he's not.
Let me paint a good picture for you real quick, right? If we go into the season right now with the team that we have, guess what? Obi is going to play the same amount of minutes he played last year. So Obi's value is going to tank more closer to a payday, right? So you still haven't made a decision who you keep in between Obi and Julius. So the more time you waste, the more time his value goes down. It's the same thing with Knox. It's the same thing with Frank. They could have traded these guys early in their career. They said no. And eventually became a second-round pick. They said, no, we're not trading a past lotto pick for a second. And then it ended up not even renewing his contract, going into free agency. That's what happens in the NBA. You got to strike while it's hot. And as Freezy always says, swing the damn hammer. There's an all-star staring at you in the face.
Right. You're gonna
have IQ playing behind Brunson and Derrick Rose and Fournier. He's not gonna get the type of minutes we all.
Yes, he will. We need a roster. We need a roster. What happened if Randall? What happened if Randall go down? Who his backup if we trade Obi?
What the thing is you making a hypothetical. What happened if Randall go down? What happened if Giannis? But what happened if Giannis go down?
Yeah, I swear you and State look like brothers, y'all.
Yeah, what happened? What happened if Kevin Durant go down? What happened if LeBron and AD go down?
Respect.
Nah, bro. Nah, because of the high.
Are you asking me a question? Are you asking me a question?
No, it's rhetoric. It's rhetoric.
Okay.
I'm using your rhetoric in a rhetorical way. Because you said, what happened if Randall go down? Who gonna be his backup?
Right? Yeah, if you trade Obi.
Right. But what happens if LeBron go down?
No, we didn't talk about the Knicks. We didn't talk about the Knicks.
Nah, but you using hypotheticals that.
Yo, my bad. I had a phone call coming that it cut me off.
Yeah, man. So I'm with a lot of people that's been listening, bro. I think the conversation it got way off the rails. I was listening the whole time. I was trying to hang up this Boys in the Hood poster, but I got a screw loose. I can't help that, maybe, but yeah, man. Hey, State, what's good? King Ant G in the building. King Ant G, what's good?
Who's that, State?
Yeah, King Ant G disappeared, man. For some reason.
What up, State? What's good?
I'm hearing Knicks fans. I'm hearing y'all combo. I'm working product. When I say good product, shout outs to Uncle Freezy, man. He always allowed me to come to the platform. I appreciate you, Uncle. But when I say good product, that convo y'all having is pure garbage. Pure garbage. Pure garbage. What I'm listening to is pure garbage.
Thank you, State.
Let's talk about how we can get better. That's what I want to talk about. I don't want to talk.
Wasn't that the initial conversation?
Yes, but then we went off the rails. Then you got a guy saying, "Oh, people don't want to get fleeced," and comparing it to the Carmelo Anthony trade. The Carmelo Anthony trade for real Nick OGs was never the issue. The
Never.
issue was after the trade. So people need to stop bringing that trade up. One.
That's the truth. What are you talking about?
No, it's
That's
not.
CWC, let
No,
him
it's
finish,
not.
bro. Y'all was talking the whole time. Nobody even interrupted y'all.
So you bringing up the Melo trade? That's false because those two don't correlate.
State froze.
Any type.
I think they absolutely do correlate, though.
I got my brother. Listen, they don't correlate.
They don't correlate.
No, they don't.
Can I explain how?
Let him, DP, let him finish first. And then,
okay. Good chance to rebuttal. All right. So tell.
State, you breaking up real bad, bro.
They don't correlate. One, because of the assets we have now that we did not have during the Carmelo Anthony trade. Two, trading for Carmelo Anthony didn't set our franchise back. That's a narrative that Knicks fans like to push. But let's look at the last 20 years. We know what life is like with Melo, and we know what life is like without Melo. And life with Melo was way better. Way better. We just didn't have as much. But if you want to say the Carmelo Anthony trade was bad, I'm gonna give you that to play devil's advocate for argument's sake. This is not the same situation. If you look at the roster that we brought Carmelo Anthony to, his starting center was Turiaf, and we was playing guys like Billy Walker, and this is totally different. If we bring Donovan Mitchell in, we have Jalen Brunson, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson. We're keeping some of the young guys. You guys are basically not wanting to do this trade-off what Danny Ainge wants. But I need you to get in your head that Danny Ainge is not going to get what he wants. Because the Knicks hold most of the leverage. So respectfully, this shouldn't really be that big of a I don't know what you're afraid of. We can't be so afraid to upgrade that in baseball they call it prospect hugging. We're hugging these dudes for dear life. And the truth is, Quickly, Grimes, McBride, chances are they'll never be Donovan Mitchell.
Wait.
Could they be?
Wait, Andy, let me stop you right there. I don't know what you about to get into trading Quickly, Grimes, Obi, and Deuce for Donovan Mitchell. I gotta stop you right there. I'm not doing
No. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
And please let him finish, bro. Because
no. What I'm saying is, no, obviously you don't give up all of those dudes for Donovan Mitchell. I'm saying there's gonna be a combination of some of those guys in this trade. But what I'm saying is that not one of those guys is worth saying no to Donovan Mitchell for, right? Obviously you use your leverage and you use common sense and you don't overpay to that extent. But if you're telling me Obi for Donovan straight up, yes. Quickly for Donovan straight up, yes. McBride for Donovan straight up, yes. None of those guys am I going to allow me to not get Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is an all-star. He's a budding superstar. This kid is averaging 25, 26 points a game on respectable efficiency at 25 years old. He's not even in his prime yet. We are assuming that this is his last level. We don't know. He can get better. So we have to look at what we have on this roster and what we need. The Knicks have a bunch of good guys, good basketball players. We need elite talent. And where we stand, if we wait till next summer, we don't know what that looks like, because once we give RJ Barrett his extension, it's over. We're capped out. There's not much room to improve. So you have to tell me who else is going to be available in the very near future that we can get if you're saying no to Donovan Mitchell.
All right, this is what I'm saying. We all saying the same thing.
No,
we all saying the same thing. Let me explain why.
But hey, hold on, hey DP, Angie, you ain't heard DP stance yet.
But I heard all these dudes stance, and we all ain't saying the same thing.
But DP just got here. He ain't even. I understand what you're saying. Hey, Angie, and for the record, I think I kind of agree with you. I think we're in the same boat.
I think we all agree with each other, and this is what I mean. When you actually throw a package out there, then everybody that really is pushing for Donovan Mitchell, saying that at all costs, will say, well, no, we're not giving up all of that. And the guys that are kind of hesitant are not saying we don't want to give up everything. You understand what I'm saying? So when you actually say the package of 6 picks, Grimes, McBride, Obi, and IQ, everybody's like, well, no. You know what I'm saying? Can we all agree to that? That's too much?
Yeah, I agree with you.
We all agreeing to that. But then where the translation gets lost is somebody will say IQ, and then, you know what I mean? Like somebody will say, well, that's too much, IQ and Grimes. You know what I'm saying? And it's not too much. We all know that. We just saying, when you say fleece, we're saying IQ, Grimes, like those 4 guys I named, plus 6 picks, plus 2 slots.
Yeah.
That's OD.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what everyone is saying. Nobody wants to give that up. If you telling me we got to give up IQ and Obi and 5 picks, great. Let's do it tonight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I think we all agreeing on it. We getting lost of saying I like Grimes, I like this guy. I think we all like Grimes. But if they say give me Grimes,
let me say this just real quick, because you said we all, right?
I believe.
Oh boy.
And it's not we all, right?
Okay.
So while I agree with you,
I agree as well.
Right, I agree with you, right? But we all don't agree. There are some that don't want to do this deal at all.
Oh man, so now you're talking crazy. If you don't want to do the deal at all,
right? And so, but here's the thing, and it was basically what I spoke to in the opening of the show, and the opening of this show, and State of the New York Knicks podcast can attest to this. We have transitioned from one young core to another in front of everybody's face, right? This young core is a RJ Barrett featured young core. And y'all know who this young core is. It's RJ, right? It's Mitch, it's Obi, it's Quickly, it's Grimes, it's McBride, it's Rokas, and it's Jericho Sims. You can include Farron Hunt. But there was a young core before this one that featured Frank Ntilikina, Kevin Knox, Damian Dotson, Alonzo Trier, Kadeem Allen, who wasn't really that young, but he was a part of that group, right? There, Isaiah Hicks, Tony Wooten, and Luke Cornett.
Syrup sandwiches.
But hear me out. So what happens is the wool is being pulled over some of the Knicks' eyes, and I'm here to stop it. I'm y'all friend. I'm here to prevent y'all from being bamboozled and hoodwinked, right? I'm here to tell you that young core that I just mentioned of Luke Cornett, Isaiah Hicks, Alonzo Trier, Kevin Knox, Frank Ntilikina, it did exist. It happened. And attached to that young core was 2 Dallas first-round picks. Today, we are being told that you can't touch this young core because this is the first time we've ever been in a situation where we had young players and draft picks. And that's a lie. People like CWC, and I'm not saying that he's wrong, I'm saying I disagree. He will say that this young core is the first time we've been in this situation with young players and draft picks. And I'm here to tell you that is not true.
Okay, can I ask the question?
They're going to say, wait a minute.
Okay.
They are going to say that this young core, this situation that we're in, is the first time that we've been in a situation like this. And if we mess it up by training for a superstar, we'll never be in this situation again. Right? And so what I'm telling you is that is also a lie, because the Knicks have been in young core mode for years. There's a stitch in time. We're in the RJ Barrett young core. There was the Frank Ntilikina young core. There was a Kristaps Porzingis and them young core that morphed into the Frank Ntilikina young core. Right? People, Knicks fans are going to tell you that, oh my God, we've never had young players before. And that, my friends, is a lie. So the people that are scared of mediocrity would say, no, don't trade draft picks. Don't trade the farm. Me and State of the New York Knicks podcast had this beef with others on Twitter when the Knicks should have traded up in the draft to get Scotty Barnes, and they didn't. Because people were like, if you trade these young players and these draft picks, you don't know when you'll ever be in this situation again. And mind you, at the time we were having this discussion, Scotty Barnes had just turned 18 years old.
We messed up by going for the almighty 4th seed, though. Ain't that right, State?
But the thing, so David Parker, how many games do you go to a year?
I try. Well, now that I'm out of state, it's been about 4 years. But I usually try to go to 1 or 2.
Right. So a lot of us go to somewhere between 20 and 30 games a year.
Right.
Right. And so we got to get in our car. We got to gas our cars up and go. Probably drive out of town. Probably pay for a suite. Right. Probably pay for stuff. When I go, I like to wear new Knicks stuff. So I probably spend about $150 on Knicks stuff. So I pay about $800 for the ticket, $300 in travel. Right. If I'm staying overnight, I got to pay for the hotel. Say it's in DC. So I wind up spending about $1,800 to go see the Knicks. And you're telling me when I go, I should go watch a bad product.
Who said no?
I should go. You.
I never said that.
You said the almighty 4th seed messed us up.
I didn't say that. I just said that's what State normally goes to. That was a joke.
Okay. All right. Well, my mistake then. My mistake.
I know. Yeah, no, please. No,
I don't want to throw you under the bus. What I'm saying is a lot of us Knicks fans, we don't root for the Knicks from a distance.
Right.
We spend money.
Right.
Right. And to say that a season in which I went to go watch my boys play in the playoffs is a throwaway is clearly a statement made by somebody that doesn't go to Knicks games.
Oh, I go to Knicks.
Right. Because the thing is, who in their right mind is going to spend $2,000 to go watch a team tank, and that's for one day? Who's going to spend $2,000 to go watch a team tank?
Well, that's kind of part of the problem, though, because these people in New York do it all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one getting over on us.
Right.
Not him personally, but you know what I'm saying?
The question should not be the question should not be whether the Knicks making the 4th seed hurt us, because if the Knicks made the 4th seed, and guess what they got out of that? The same dudes that people don't want to trade: Quentin Grimes, Miles McBride, and Jericho Sims.
Oh, God.
So how would the almighty 4th seed hurt somebody, and then the players that you got out of that, you like them?
I'm so glad Freezy not directing this at me, because
look. This is something that me and State probably need to talk about because in my mind, see, because I don't own the Knicks. I'm a Knicks fan, bro. I go to games. I go to Orlando. I go to Charlotte. I go to DC. Occasionally, I'll try to sneak out to Memphis, but it's expensive, right? If I can, like if I got extra money, I'll try to make it to Memphis, but it's expensive, right? But I'll go to Atlanta. I'll go to Miami. I got family down there, right? But to say the Knicks winning games is a waste of resources, bro, is disrespectful to the people that go to the games.
Freezy, I don't think you getting the whole context of that statement, though. It's not about the Knicks making it to the 4th seed. It's what they did after they made it to the 4th seed.
That's not what was said.
They didn't. But when people say that, I feel like you know what we mean.
No, I don't know what you. Y'all got to speak clear. Y'all got to keep it a buck. Just keep it. Just be a straight shooter. I shoot straight. I'm not.
All right,
listen,
so
when I talk to y'all, I just shoot straight from the hip.
So let me shoot straight. We didn't have to sign Julius Randle to the deal we had to the deal that we signed him to. We could have waited. It could have been another year. We could have waited. We didn't have to sign Kemba Walker to help us out with offense and Evan Fournier to help us with offense.
But what does that have to do with making the playoffs?
they felt like they had to improve on what they did from the playoffs.
So you're talking about motives after the fact.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
But the thing is so motives after the fact and the playoffs are two different things.
But that's why
are they not? Are they not? Is the playoff atmosphere and then the moves made that summer, are they not two separate things?
No,
they both coincide with one another, because had we not made the playoffs, who was to say if they would signed Julius Randle to another deal or not? Who's to say?
Freezy knows this. I don't know why he playing right now, because I done said this to him a million times about that 4th seed year. So I don't even know why we even got to get into this convo again. But I guess Freezy's going there. When you go into
because it doesn't make sense, bro. One thing doesn't directly correlate to another. If you are in the intelligent mindset that every team looks to improve themselves during the off season.
So let me ask you a question.
You're not putting me on the witness stand. If you ask me a question, it got to be legit though. Don't put, because I'm not going to be on the witness stand.
But you a basketball president. You see your starting five as Alfred Payton, Reggie Bullock, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson. Hold on. You see that lottery for that specific year is deep. And you don't have to pay none of your young prospects yet. And you mean to tell me that you're confident that you're
What's your question? Wait a minute. What's your question? You said, let me ask you a question. And then you start making statements.
What foresight do you have with that roster going into that season? Have you saying I'm going to try to make the playoffs with that said starting five?
Hey, State, both of us know that starting five was trash.
So if we both
so with that said though, did you need to see a playoff game to recognize that starting lineup was trash?
Well, obviously we wasted a whole season to know that starting lineup was trash, because after game 60, we all know when fans got back in the stands, we all know what happened with that season. But all of those moves coincide together. When you win those games, those meaningless games during the season where that lottery is deep, you're not having foresight for the future. So you get the 4th seed, and because that you got the 4th seed, you re-signed Randall, Burks, Evan, and you signed Evan Fournier to $78 million. Hypothetically speaking, you don't make the 4th seed and you get a top 5 pick. You're not re-signing Burks, you're not signing Evan Fournier, and you're not re-signing Randall for that 4th season.
And your fans are not going to games.
Hold on. Fans is going to go to games regardless.
No, we not. No, we not.
They can't sell out every game.
But no, we not. We not. No, we not.
So wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. So you want people to go watch the Knicks when the starting five don't have a clear direction, and you want to just win games for the sake of winning games because you want to sell tickets? That's what you're telling me?
Yeah, but
no. Oh, go ahead, Angie. Go ahead, bro.
That assumes that you think that our front office thought Alfred Payton, Reggie Bullock, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson were going to win games. Okay, so they didn't think that group was going to win games. So my question to you is, even up until wait a
minute. Let's do the first thing first. And because Angie, listen, we got plenty of time, bro. Yeah, I just want to address the first thing you said. Can I address the first thing you said?
Yes, sir. Of course.
So you said so you said the starting lineup. We assumed that this team would win games based on that starting lineup, right?
No. I'm saying the same way we think that starting lineup was bad. I think the front office also thought that starting lineup was bad, and they didn't put that starting lineup together thinking they were going to win games.
Okay, but guess what happened? That team finished 41-31.
Yeah.
Right. And even and King Angie, because I want to get to the second part, because the second part of your question I think is intriguing, more intriguing than this part. But I just want to put some stuff out there, some facts out there first, though. So even with that starting lineup, the Knicks, with that starting lineup that you mentioned that we all thought was trash, in the last 20 games of the season, they finished 16-4.
We know why.
But what were they supposed to do, State? Like my thing is, once that you pass.
So should we say? So Angie, let me ask. So should we just? So we just pretend like the Knicks being hot as fish grease down the stretch never happened.
And right, because up until that point, they were very mediocre, right?
Very.
So it's
very.
after the trade deadline.
Right.
Okay, it's after the trade deadline. These guys start winning games. So,
Right.
State, what you're suggesting is that management tells Thibodeau they're hot, sit them. Like I don't understand how we were supposed to lose games on purpose. I don't see how we do that.
So
like, if they're winning down the stretch, they're winning down the stretch. There's nothing management can do about that at that point.
Hold on.
Right.
So you wasn't able to trade Reggie Bullock and none of those guys. So you won meaningless games off of those guys, and they walked the next season. You should have started off that season with just young guys.
Yeah, but that's a different argument, State. Because what you're saying is Reggie Bullock stinks.
Right, but and what competent organizations make the playoffs and then start a rebuild?
But what
competent fourth seed at that, home court advantage.
Yeah, what competent organization gets a home playoff series and there's like, no,
Breezy.
I understand we have momentum, but we're gonna start RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly in the backcourt.
Breezy, do you consider OKC like a competent organization?
Wait, hold on.
No. Oh no, OKC is a grease fire, bro.
They haven't won since Kevin Durant. They didn't win before Kevin Durant.
I was gonna say that the year with CP3, they went to the playoffs and they went right back to rebuild.
I mean, the Utah Jazz are doing that right now.
Right, but the reason why I say they're a grease fire, bro, is because they constantly tinker with things that work and it backfires, and then they have to reset and rebuild again. Because they had Russ and Paul George, right, and then they had Chris Paul, SGA, and Dennis Schroeder, right, and instead of building on that momentum from both of those good starting backcourts, their backcourt right now is Josh Giddey and SGA. And those that play 2K will say, well, that sounds like a damn good backcourt to me, but they don't win nothing.
They're not going with nothing even no time soon.
Yo, they
right.
They intentionally sabotage their seasons though.
But that's Oklahoma City. Like
at all.
It sounds good, but 82 games of being terrible, none of us like that.
Nobody likes being terrible. It's the reason why State be losing his mind over Julius Randle. Right, because State is a hypocrite. I'm saying it to State face, but State know I love him. That's my man. So first of all, I love State. Y'all know I love State, bro. Y'all know I love State with all my heart, man. As a matter of fact, I know some of y'all will get jealous of me saying how much I love State, but so what? I love State, my man. But State hypocritical right now, because if State wanted to tank, he would be okay with Julius Randle sucking.
Right.
Exactly. But he's not okay with Julius Randle sucking. So that means he wants to win. So if you want to win, then you can't tank. You can't have it both ways.
Well, the Knicks. Well, Josh Giddey, SGA, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle,
and Donovan Mitchell.
Okay. Now you see how you got to add that extra because it's laughable with free.
But State. Listen, I called you a hypocrite. I thought you was gonna go off. I ain't gonna lie. I called you a hypocrite. I was actually trying to troll you so you can snap.
Told y'all, Freezy be trolling with a straight face. I told y'all.
Because I didn't have combos with Freezy for years.
Okay. Oh, so you say it now? You okay? All right. So you figured me out. Okay, my bad, dude. My bad. My bad.
My only thing is, I want to win. Everybody knows I want to win, but I like to build the right.
But you want to tank too?
No. I wanted to tank average person paying him. That's how you build a team.
Yeah, I think they tried to tank, bro. When you put out a starting backcourt of Reggie Bullock and Elfrid Payton, you're trying to tank.
Hold on.
It just didn't work.
Hold on. And with the anomaly of COVID, right? Because these guys are COVID merchants. Randall's a COVID merchant. Elfrid, all of them are COVID merchants, right? Why didn't you want to start Frank Ntilikina and Kevin Knox? So we could why? Well, just why?
One clarification. Elfrid Payton was asked during COVID too.
Yeah, but he still helped. So that whole season, like I want to just flush that season down the toilet and just forget about it. Because of that season, it coincided with signing Evan Fournier and all of these bums. Yeah. Then that coincides with the Knicks having to literally use assets in order to get off certain bums contracts. And I'm still looking at Evan Fournier on my roster while Quentin Grimes and Cam Reddish is here.
And then you know what's crazy? Even after all of that, God himself is giving us a get out of jail free card with Donovan Mitchell. And some of these dudes are crying about it.
You know why?
Understand it.
You know why? Because getting Donovan Mitchell while still having Julius Randle on the roster is like getting cut by a machete and you putting a little Band-Aid over it. Like I love getting Donovan, but why is 30 still here? Because of optics. We all know he does not fit with that small backcourt. Obi fits. So it's like the Knicks been optic driven, politic driven for the past 20 years. Hopefully next season they end that, because if they don't, they're always going to get in their own way.
We got to do one thing at a time, though. And one thing that Freezy brought up that I hear from a lot of Knicks fans, and I want to address it real quick, is we talk about the young guys, the kids. We trading the kids.
Man, like, we always got young guys, bro.
And do we understand that Donovan Mitchell was 25 years old? Donovan Mitchell is one of the young guys. Yeah. Matter of fact, Donovan Mitchell is going to be our best young guy. So when we talk about, because I hear Knicks fans all the time, it's like this fantasy of building like Golden State, right? Oh, see how Golden State built their championship with all drafted players, right? First of all, that doesn't happen often, right? Look at the championship teams. Nobody's building championship teams through just drafted players. It's not happening. Golden State is an anomaly in this day and age in the NBA. But even if you look at Golden State, why were they able to do that? Because they had elite young talent, generational young talent, not just a bunch of young dudes, right? So if like Freezy called ham sandwiches, if you just have a bunch of ham sandwiches, it don't matter how old they are, they're a ham sandwich. So Donovan Mitchell bringing in an elite young talent should be exactly what all of you kids or Knicks fans that want the kids to play should be rooting for. Because we're bringing in a young, elite talent. That's the only way we're going to be able to build with the young guys and be competitive is by having young, elite talent.
State, let me ask you this. Would you trade quickly Grimes, McBride, and Obi for Scotty Barnes right now?
Easy, man.
Nah.
I'm asking you. This is a legit question. I'm not judging you. I'm not judging you, bro. I'm just asking you a question.
I would though, because that coincides with my feelings upon how I felt about the rest of our young prospects as opposed to RJ Barrett. Blue chippers. What me and you've been talking about for the past few years.
Blue chippers. We need some crown gems in here.
And my only pushback to the Donovan Mitchell trade is I want you to make the trade, but I have two caveats. Evan Fournier needs to be chopped cheeses in Utah.
Okay.
And you need to keep, out of these three, you have to keep at least one of them. Obi, Grimes, or Quickly.
Right.
Now,
but nobody, I didn't dispute that, bro. I'm with you 100%.
But that's not the narrative though. Nobody like what Odu said a minute ago. It's not a matter of nobody wants Donovan Mitchell. It's what are we willing to give up for Donovan?
The asking price. I understand where you're coming from.
That's the problem.
Right. And I feel
like people that means we're having a problem with something hasn't happened yet.
Bro,
everybody wants Donovan Mitchell. Is this a price?
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. When states show up, everybody get correct. When states show up, everybody tighten up.
Hey, Uncle Freezy.
State, listen, you don't intimidate me, Bubba. But I notice when you show up, people tighten up.
No, I had the same
hey,
point.
Uncle Freezy.
Yo.
Hey, this CWC. Uncle Freezy. What happened at Danny Ainge? Like, you know what? I want Hunt, Cam Reddish, Grimes, and 5 draft picks.
He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that.
Hunt, Cam, and Grimes, and McBride, and 5 draft picks. Will you do that?
Hey, that's done. And you know why? You know why? Because I can get an undersized shooting guard from out of the draft any day of the week. I can get an undersized point guard from off the scrap heap from anywhere. You know what? If I got rid of McBride, in that trade, I'd invest in John Montero. You know why? Because he's a young, undersized point guard at the same position.
How about Hunt?
Anybody is replaceable, bro.
We don't even
two-way
know
Hunt. He can go.
We don't even know if Hunt's an NBA player right now. We don't know that yet.
No, Hunt is Uncle Freezy's boy. Uncle Freezy, you love him.
I do like. Listen, y'all know I love a good underdog story, bro. Y'all know I do. Listen, in real life, I'm what you call an underdog, right? Born with a heart condition. I got four chambers, right, and 5 valves. So occasionally my heart to get out of rhythm. I was born like that. I was born an underdog, bro. A lot of stuff happened in my life. I'm the underdog story, bro. So when I see another underdog, you know what I'm saying? I be pulling for him. Because a lot of times people be pulling for the hero. Nobody pulled for the underdog. It's why I like watching movies like Rocky, right? Because I like the underdog. It's like it's the reason why I like watching movies like 300, because I like the underdogs, right? And so me, I'm just telling. I'm not saying that so I can recruit people to be on my side. I'm putting my cards on the table to let you know who I am and why I like dudes like Farron Hunt, why I like dudes like Jericho Sims, right? It is what it is. So if Farron Hunt make the roster, yes, I will be excited for that kid. And yes, I'll root for him. Right? Because we watch the draft and first round picks come and they go to their glamorous city and they have great careers, but nobody talk about the dudes that don't get drafted and got to pull their way up out of mud. And listen, if y'all like the first round picks and if y'all like the lottery picks and all that stuff, I get it. I'm not looking to take away anything that you like. What I'm saying is my personal preference is the underdog story. I like that. So if y'all think I'm a homer for liking Farron Hunt, so what? I am who I am, bro. I'm not gonna change just because I get around new people. And State know that. State been knowing me for probably longer than anybody. I'm not gonna change who I am because I'm around new people. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. I'm keeping it 10 times 10 every day, bro. Sorry.
But Uncle Freezy, if we trade all them guys that I just named, that's a lot of defense.
Man, they're not even gonna play. They're not going to play.
And they're gonna play. That's why we remove some vets. They're gonna play. The young kids gonna play. The young kids gonna play next year.
I'm
Why
just
you think we got
to trade Farron Hunt and a bunch of nobodies for All-Star. I'm just going to shock you off for that.
I mean, what kids are we talking about next year? We're only going to have maybe 1 or 2 of them. I mean, we can't. How much longer are we going to call RJ your kid? He's going into his 4th year.
RJ's a young vet.
I mean, he's basically a vet now.
And how many years are we going to keep this up? Protect the young core. Bro, this goes all the way back to Jerry and Grant. Oh, you can't trade Jerry and Grant. Porzingis, Frank Ntilikina. The coach need to be fired because he won't play Frank.
Shout out to Jared Jack taking all of Frank's minutes.
Yes.
Last year was a failure. We were supposed to play our young kids last year.
Shout out to Marcus Morris taking all Kevin Knox minutes. Shout out to Evan Fournier taking all the Quentin Grimes minutes.
Yeah, shout out.
And then you want to play the kids. Then you want to play the kids at the last minute.
That was.
Then you want to play the kids at the last minute.
Yeah. Shout out to DeAndre Jordan for taking all Mitch minutes.
Remember that?
Everything.
They get fired.
No, Fournier was the only one that was politics.
Yeah. Well, hey, what was it, y'all? What would you say?
Yeah, on the first half of the season, Fournier was trash. He was trash. Straight up trash.
You said it was politics, B?
Yeah, that's politics.
Yo,
he was
trash, bro.
I didn't care how much money he made. He should be on the bench playing like that.
Hold on. I got a theory behind why he was trash. Freezy, you could attest to this because you're an older Knicks fan than I am. Evan was trash within the first 3 months of the season because the pressure was on to make the playoffs. That's why he kept shooting up bricks. I noticed, and this is just me personally, I noticed Evan get hot in February when we was 10 games under 500. So that told me he's a front runner. I don't want him on my team. I dislike when Knicks fans at me on Twitter and legit say, State, why you don't like Evan Fournier to be on the Knicks? And I always tell him, I say, yo, what Quentin Grimes shot from 3 last season? Oh, 38%? Oh, word? Oh, he 22? Oh, word? What Cam Reddish shot last season for the Hawks? Oh, 36% from 3, word? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Oh, RJ shot from 3 before, right? Oh, all right. So Quentin Grimes can't play the same role that Evan Fournier played? But State, you know Evan Fournier, he's the vet. He played in the NBA. I don't care. Talk basketball.
Can we just
go ahead,
contract every time we're about to play the Celtics? That's all I need. Is Evan Fournier for the Celtics.
We went 10 games under 500. He got into his Orlando Magic bag. He got real comfortable.
Yeah, but what Say didn't allude to is Evan Fournier got hot right around the trade deadline when people could be moved. That's what State didn't really get. I didn't know if he want to hurt y'all feelings or not. I don't care. I don't care. Man, Evan Fournier, and I like Fournier, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, but it did take him a while to get started. Again, none of us can, because after a while we were like, if Fournier don't play against the Celtics, he ain't gonna do nothing else. Fournier only showed up against the Celtics. Y'all remember that? Remember the Julius Randle thumbs down game? Evan Fournier went for 41.
Remember opening night? That boy went
bananas. Then Julius dropped 46 after the deadline, like immediately after.
I can't remember.
He dropped 46 on the Kings. I feel like it was like pretty close to after the deadline because he was playing horrendous coming up to the deadline.
I know this probably not a popular take, but my only trepidation with getting rid of Fournier is I feel like once we get rid of him, we're gonna be looking for somebody that does what he does.
We got him.
We don't have enough shooting as is. So is there a world where Fournier is on this team but not starting, but can play his role of just shooter? Because he's shooting. So we're gonna get rid of Fournier and then look for shooters. To me, it's like, what are we doing? I know it fits the narrative of we hate the vets, but I mean Fournier fits a role on this team. I think he was miscast last year.
Let me ask you a question.
A lot of people were.
Angie, let me ask you a question. You got 2 6'1" guards on your team starting at the backcourt. Where does Evan Fournier fit on my team next season?
Off the bench.
Off the bench.
No.
But that's the assumption he's not in the trade.
Hold on. Off the bench as a wing, after I trade Quentin Grimes or Reddish in this deal, so you want Evan Fournier. I just want this with clarity. You want Evan Fournier to back up RJ Barrett, and you got 2 6'1" guards, and you're starting backcourt. Somebody got to tell me something.
First of all, are we positive that Cam Reddish is a shooter? Like, are we sure about that?
Are we sure that Evan Fournier is a shooter? Because he
yes,
ain't showing that during last season.
He broke the Knicks 3-point record last year.
Oh, that shit. Excuse my language, but I don't even want to hear that. I don't want to hear that.
Shooter. Ain't nobody saying Evan Fournier is this great basketball player, but we know he's a shooter.
Yo, Ed G about to have me pour hot coffee at my job on my killing me.
But if we get Donovan Mitchell on Fournier had to go for the money to match with him and Derrick Rose had to go.
No, but we have to look at the type of team we're gonna have. I'm very confident in Tom Thibodeau's ability to coach defense. Offense is a whole different conversation, but I'm confident in his ability to coach defense. So we have to look at the players we're gonna have. Donovan likes attacking the rim. Brunson likes attacking the rim. RJ likes attacking the rim. We need guys for them to kick it out.
But hey, King Angie, let me ask you this though. Let me ask you this. Is your trepidation centered around the offensive system that Tom Thibodeau's runs and his ability to make adjustments in that offensive system, or Is it your ability, or is it Tibbs' ability to coach offensive players to diversify their game, to play together to make the offense more efficient? Which one is it?
It would be B for me.
Okay.
Because I'm not of the belief that everybody we had last year was trash. I'm not of that belief. I'm of the belief that we had a bunch of B-list guys trying to play the A role, a bunch of C-list guys trying to play the B role. Like, and that's our issue. So if
some D guys trying to play the C role.
yeah, and when you have a team like that, it makes everybody look bad. Right. There's a reason why most of us were pretty excited about bringing Fournier in over Bullock at the beginning of last year. Evan Fournier didn't just all of a sudden become trash. He's not a trash basketball player. He's
not. He's not.
So Julius Randle is not a trash basketball player. But when you ask a guy like Julius to be your star and be your franchise player, you're doing it to yourself, right? So we need to cast these guys in their right roles. And bringing in Donovan Mitchell, bringing in Jalen Brunson, having RJ take that next step can possibly push these guys down the totem pole into their correct role. And I think
we only got one ball. Only one ball.
Right.
That's it.
But Fournier doesn't need the ball in his hand. He can catch and shoot.
He's
especially
a
the corner. And we know Thibodeau likes that corner three, right? So Evan Fournier can be a very valuable piece on this offense if we use him the right way.
How many minutes do you think he would play?
I'm not sure Cam Reddish is a shooter. I'm just not sure he's a shooter. And I think there's a reality next year where we have all of these young guys and we're bricking open jump shots because we don't have enough shooters on this team.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't trust Cam anyway. I'm a Duke fan. I just don't trust Cam like that.
So Mike Woodson found a way to play Steve Novak, but we can't find a way to play Evan Fournier. Steve Novak was way more limited than Evan Fournier is. So if Mike Woodson could find a way to put Steve Novak on one of the best defensive teams in the league and get him minutes, we can find a way to play Evan Fournier and still keep our defense respectable.
Man, wow. I thought we gave a point guard $100 million this offseason to improve the individual players on the team. Okay. We're just going to ignore the $100 million point guard, improving other players. All right.
Okay. But why are we ignoring them? I don't get it.
No, you just said that you don't think Cam Reddish is a shooter. That's what you said.
No, I'm not saying I don't think it. I'm not sure he is. I haven't seen enough evidence to prove to me he's a shooter. Quentin Grimes is throwing up a lot of bricks in summer league. So I need to see a little more from these guys to be convinced that they're going to be enough of a shooting threat to keep people out of the paint so that our guards that love to drive the basketball can get into the paint. We need shooters. And
can Tibbs coach multiple skilled offensive players to work together? That's what it is.
We're gonna see.
I would because listen, man, I'm gonna say this and just hear me out on it just real quick. I'm in the opposite mindset. I think I'm in a mindset that Tibbs need guys that runs his high ball screen pick and roll offense, and he hadn't had those players, right? That's my belief, right? When we went to, was it the Orlando game? I think it was the Orlando game in Orlando, right? When we saw Tibbs' offense, we was like, yo, Tibbs ain't got no players, bro. Kemba Walker can't even turn the corner with a screen. With a screen, he can't get by his man.
Huskies stand up.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So I was thinking the whole time the Knicks need a point guard, bro. The Knicks need a point guard and they need an off the ball cutter, not an on the ball cutter like RJ driving to the basket, but a dude that threatens the rim off the ball. Like the big man has to be threatened by the pick and roller, the pick and roll handler, and by a weak side cutter that want to dunk on him behind his back, that would just want to catch the lob on him and posterize him. Right?
I mean,
but what
does a lot of that.
No, Obi don't do that.
Crazy.
Obi's not a small forward, weak side.
Yeah, he's definitely not a small
forward. Now, if you said Obi is the roll man to the rim, can catch a lob at 6'9", 220, throwing it down on somebody big man, I'll be with you. But either catching a pass from the corner and dribbling it, putting the ball on the floor and going to the rim and dunking, or getting a running start and catching the lob on somebody. Maybe Obi can do some of that stuff, but it's not dependable.
It's not consistent. It's not.
Yeah. Like say for instance, is Obi topping Miles Bridges? No. Is he athletic like Miles Bridges? Maybe. But Miles Bridges can put that ball on the floor and take it to the rim and dunk on somebody. Right? The Knicks don't have that type of guy did not have that type of guy on the floor with them last year. I think Cam Reddish thrives in that role.
We sorely need a specific type of athlete,
right,
in that mold. That rangy 3 or 4 on both ends.
Right.
Which Cam could be that. He could be that.
He could be.
We have to see it though.
Right.
I mean, Atlanta tried.
Yeah, and Atlanta, and for those that don't know, the New York Knicks and Atlanta Hawks run the same type of offense. They run it at different pace, right? Atlanta is more up and down the floor, hurry up and get into it. The Knicks are Julius Randle, walk it up, pass it to the point guard, do the weave, bring the big up from the box. He set the screen, get into the pick and roll. The strong side shooter is threatening the corner defender so he won't collapse. The weak side defender, instead of cutting to the basket, he stays in the corner. Y'all notice that we have 2 guys in the corner, like each corner.
Yeah, all the time.
By the time we get through that,
instead of one guy threatening the rim, you know what I'm saying, like being the weak side guy that want to yam on. Yeah, so yeah, man, and it's because Derrick Rose and Alfred Payton preferred that. Like RJ wanted to be that. Like Angie, I'll remind you of a play. Just think about this. RJ Barrett runs the screen and roll. Derrick Rose had switched places with RJ. Derrick Rose was at the 2. RJ was the 3 running the pick and roll, right? Reggie Bullock was in one corner. Derrick Rose was in another corner, right? The play calls for Derrick Rose to cut to the basket, right? RJ Barrett throws a sweet pocket pass in between defenders, and it goes off Derrick Rose's hands out of bounds in Atlanta. And Derrick was like, "Oh shit, my bad, man. I ain't know you was gonna throw the pass. We run this all the time. Nobody ever throw the pass."
It's because we don't have those IQ.
Yeah, because
we do.
Because when Derrick Rose was running the play, the guy that was in the corner, he never cut to the basket, and when he did, Derrick Rose never threw the pass. But when RJ ran the same play with Derrick Rose in that role, Derrick Rose cut to the basket, and Derrick Rose, the ball hit him in his hands and went out of bounds, and Derrick Rose started laughing like, my bad, bro. I mean, nobody ever throw the pass on that.
Because we never get to the secondary action with our unit ever.
That's the point that I'm getting at. Why Donovan Mitchell is important.
That's and if this goes through, because I don't like jinxing stuff, but if this goes through, that's part of the reason why it's not a popular take. But I want to see. So I've asked myself, right? I'm thinking about the best case scenario for next season, and like does the best case scenario for next season involve Julius Randle rebounding, right, into the previous year, or does it involve Obi topping, right? So if Julius Randle rebounds next season, I think that takes us to another level with Donovan Mitchell, because Donovan Mitchell has never played with an offensive player as talented as that. Right. So part of me wants to keep Julius Randle for at least half the season to see what we can do. Right. Because that's our best chance for being for overachieving or for reaching our ceiling is Julius Randle. Is that a given? No, it's not a given. But I think we need to slow down a little bit on throwing everything away. And because what happens is we're going to bring Donovan Mitchell to New York, and it's just going to be Utah 2.0 like, right? We don't want that. We want him to come here and have help. So let's see what Julius Randle can do first. Let's not throw the guy away. Because if RJ Barrett takes the next step, Jalen Brunson is who we think he is, Julius Randle can fit into his role now.
Yeah,
And we see what Julius Randle can do when he's playing his role. Let's not forget he averaged 21 and 8 in New Orleans on good efficiency, playing next to other great players.
And I want to add to that, when you have better players on the court, it makes your decision making a hell of a lot easier. As far as Randall, like he won't actually stop.
Dre, you mean better players like what? Like better all around players or players that thrive in a certain role?
Better overall players, meaning they have the IQ. They know what to
Okay.
do in certain scenarios. They know where to move the ball. They know defensive pressure points.
Okay.
They know to swing and move and relocate. When we ran our last like offenses between Alec Burks and what's his name, Peyton.
Dang, dog, he that memorable? Yeah, he that memorable. You forgot?
I talked to my therapist. I was practicing suppression. You know, I had to try to forget that guy, but yeah, like when they would give him the ball, they would clear out and just stand in the corner. Like, what threat is Alfred Payton in the corner?
None.
He does absolutely nothing. And when you have that guy sitting there and his man is sagging off, and then you have another guy trying to trap you from trying to trap you from back, and you already going into your move, it just makes everything so much more difficult for a guy like Julius. He's not like a natural, like do it all playmaker like a Jokic is, for example. So it's like simplifying his reads is gonna be what's gonna happen next year.
And man, one of these, if we get Mitchell, right, we got Brunson, Spider, RJ, and Julius, and Mitch, right? But I don't count Mitch because he's not really an outside threat, right? So those 4 other guys. One of those dudes is going to get a lot of open jump shots, a lot of open looks, a lot of easy basket opportunities because there's no way you can cover all 4 of those guys. It's really hard to do, especially when 3 of those guys are elite at attacking the basket.
Right.
It's going to put a lot of pressure on the defense, right? So we focus a lot about our defense, but we have the ability to have a really dynamic, dangerous offensive attack if we do it right.
The thing with Brunson and Donovan, they don't like do the fake fast pace. They actually push the ball ahead,
right?
Just to probe, and then they get into the offense immediately, and then they run 2 or 3 actions after getting off that initial pick and roll. And that's something I want to see Julius thrive off of, because there's more energy when the ball is moving.
I think it's going to be a lot of quiet Knicks fans next year when they see how the strong personalities of Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson affect Julius Randle. It's going to be a lot of quiet Knicks fans when Julius is playing his role and looking pretty good. It's going to be a lot of guys that got
a lot of humble Knicks fans.
And because it's become a narrative at this point that it's just full of emotion but void of a lot of like common sense. Like we have like convinced ourselves in the rest of the NBA that Julius Randle's a bad basketball player.
Yeah.
And like it's not factual, it's not accurate.
No,
right? There's a way, like there's a very realistic universe where Donovan Mitchell comes here and Julius Randle thrives in his role. Man, give it a chance. Give it a chance. Give it a shot. We have a lot of time. We have Donovan Mitchell locked up for 4 more years. If it doesn't work, it's okay. We can move Randle later and figure it out, but give it a shot. Give it a chance because you got 2 All-Stars. Julius Randle made an All-Star team. You got 2 All-Stars on your team. Jalen Brunson is that next level below. RJ, who knows what he is or where he can go.
You don't know what RJ, but you don't know what RJ Barrett is just yet. Right. And so I had this conversation with people that don't want to give RJ Barrett the max. And so when I talk to him, I'm like, yo, so why are y'all so dead set against RJ Barrett getting $37 million a year? Right. DeAndre Ayton right now is getting $33 million a year.
Yeah.
Right. And he's a big.
Right.
He's a big.
A limited one.
Yeah. And so to say. Huh? Yeah.
Why isn't his this similar as Aiden? unless the cap goes up. Like
Because
they both don't have any accolades as far as like all stars or anything like that.
I'm not for sure. And Ayton didn't come out the year before RJ?
Year after.
The year after RJ.
No, the year before. My fault.
Yeah, he came out in a Luka draft.
Yeah.
Freezy, let me ask you a question, Freezy. What does RJ do well?
RJ does. Let me ask you this. Wait, before we do that, why you ask that question?
Because you don't understand why. Well, you was talking about people who think RJ shouldn't get the max. So I want to ask, what does RJ do well?
So I mean, I'm saying, like, what's your point? What are you getting to?
Huh?
Like, what are you getting to? Like, what you got?
See, my thing is, I'm one of those people who thinks that RJ shouldn't get the max.
Okay. And you also one of those people that think the Knicks shouldn't go get Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, I don't think the Knicks shouldn't get Donovan Mitchell, not for the asking price that they asking for. No.
Yeah, so let me assume this. So Don P is one of those people that want to protect the assets that the Knicks have.
Yes, I'm one of those people.
But the longer you protect them, the less valuable they become. like.
Okay.
All right, so hold on.
And listen, I'm not saying that, and I didn't say that in a disrespectful way. I didn't mean for that. I just want to understand where it is that you're coming from.
I'm gonna take that as disrespect.
I just want to understand. I just want to understand your perspective. That's all.
Here's the narrative, right? And this is why I asked you the question that I asked you yesterday, and you asked me why am I scared. My whole point about Donovan Mitchell is it's a perspective. Some people see him as this elite player. Some people don't. That's point blank, period. Now, here's the thing with Donovan Mitchell. I personally, I'm not a big fan of small backcourts, but taking my emotions to the side, I wouldn't mind having a Donovan Mitchell on my team. But when people come up in and say, "Oh man, the benches, what are we talking about? Like, we could just get the bench away for an all-star. He's an all-star." Yeah, I get that, but he's not that dude. And none of y'all is going to convince me that he's that dude. Yeah, is he going to get us 30 points here and there? Yeah, maybe. Depends on Thibodeau's offense. We don't know that. We don't know.
He averaged 26 the season before. He's going to give us 30 a lot more than here or there.
All right. But offense ain't the only thing to the game. What about his defense?
Can I comment on his defense?
Yeah. Let me because I don't think a lot.
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, bro. I don't think a lot of Knicks fans really understand the situation we're in at the moment. RJ Barrett is due to get paid. Right. Once RJ Barrett gets paid, all of this adding talent is over because we're capped out. Okay. So if you're saying no to Donovan, you have to tell me who was the other option, realistic option that we can get before RJ gets paid next year. Right. This is the time to add a guy like Donovan Mitchell. It doesn't mean he's the last addition. It doesn't mean it's the final. We can always trade Brunson later on down the line a couple years from now if you want to go bigger, right? But you add the talent. You have to. With the position we're in, we're about to have to pay all of these dudes. RJ, Quick, Obi, they're all going to have to get paid. So if you say no to Donovan Mitchell, and that next opportunity doesn't present itself next year, and you pay all of these dudes, are you prepared to be very mediocre for the next 5 to 6 years? That's what we're looking at.
Yeah, if we're
Hadouken? Yeah, is that Hadouken? What in the world's going? Hadouken Sharon is in the building. Okay, go ahead, bro. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna answer your question about his defense. He's been shouldering so much of an offensive load the last 2 years. It's actually been ridiculous. I mean, let me phrase it or break it down. Mike Conley literally just started breaking down within the last 2 years. Okay. His secondary playmaker, Joe Ingles, last year tore his ACL.
Right.
His secondary playmaker, it was literally Donovan Mitchell running pick and roll a bunch of times all game, every game. And it's not fair to expect someone to be a complete offensive hub and then expect him to turn around and be an elite defender. I personally think, well, I know underneath his system, he'll pick up his weight on defense next year. Like, I'm not really worried about that because he actually has more offensive weapons. He actually has an able-bodied point guard that's healthy that will be able to run an offense and take him off ball sometimes to save his legs sometimes.
And he has 3 other dudes on the court with him that can drop 40 on any night. 3 other dudes.
All right, so again, and that's why, hold on.
Go ahead, bro.
This is why I asked the question that I asked. This is why I made the statement that I made yesterday about the whole D Wade thing. I said, if you guys think he's that caliber of player, like D Wade,
he doesn't have to be.
Huh?
He doesn't have to be. He can be the guy that gets us our D Wade. He doesn't have to be Dwayne Wade. He's a step. This is not the final piece. This is not adding KD to the Warriors. This is adding another high talented player.
Hey, the Warriors won the championship without
more
KD,
high talented
though.
players.
All right, so let me finish my point. The narrative wasn't, oh, we wouldn't trade Obi, or we wouldn't trade quickly, or we wouldn't trade Grimes for Donovan Mitchell. The narrative is we wouldn't trade Obi plus Grimes plus Cam Reddish plus who else? What's his name? McBride plus 6th-round picks to get somebody like Donovan Mitchell. That's why I'm asking people the question: if we don't get Donovan Mitchell, is that a bust to y'all?
Yeah, but that's not going to happen. That's like arguing over whether or not you got to pay $20 for a McChicken. You're not going to pay $20 for a McChicken. So there's no point arguing about it. We're not going to pay all of that for Donovan Mitchell.
No. Nah. I'm not going to let you slide with that, because you have Knicks fans, more than a few, talking about they would give up the farm for Donovan Mitchell. Anything to get Donovan Mitchell. But
okay, so define the farm. Every time you say that, people say define the farm.
Subjective.
Every time you say that, people say define what the farm is.
I'm not projecting. It's a fact.
No. I said it's subjective, meaning that the farm means something different to everybody.
Right.
So when one person says the farm, they may not be meaning what you're talking about. You're talking about giving up every asset and every bench player. That's not happening. That is not going to be what the trade is. So when you say you don't want Donovan Mitchell for that price, it's a fruitless argument, because that is not going to be what the trade is. Leon Rose is not giving up every young player in all of our picks. That's not happening.
That's always been my narrative. So when Uncle Freezy says, "Oh, you're one of those dudes who's trying to protect the assets," of course.
But Don P, but I don't say that. But listen, so you taking it in a disrespectful tone?
No.
Because what it is, and you shouldn't. The way that you should take it is, okay, now Uncle Freezy understands where I'm coming from. That's right. That's what it should be like. Okay, now when I talk to him, he'll be more open to receiving what it is that I'm saying, because he understands where I'm coming from.
Yeah, that's my whole argument. My whole argument is I'm not giving away those package of players plus 5 or 6th-round picks. And I'm hearing other Knicks fans saying, "Yo, he's an all-star." What are we talking about? He's an all-star. These are ham sandwiches. Not you, Uncle Freezy. Not you specifically. I'm talking about in general. This is the split argument.
Yeah. So I mean, I can get petty sometimes too, bro. I mean, we think about it. How many times me and you been on this live stream together for like 4 hours, and sometimes it just be boring as hell, and you just say something slick or petty.
It's cool.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm passionate. I'm not even upset. I'm just saying that we got to be honest about the narratives we're spewing over here.
Right.
I
get your point, bro. No. I get your point, and I don't disagree with you. My only point is those select few that are saying I will give up the Statue of Liberty at Madison Square Garden for Donovan Mitchell. Like, don't take those guys serious. Like, most people that want Donovan Mitchell are saying we want him for the right price. We don't want to give up everything. I don't think there's a player in the league I'll give up everything for. Like, that's just not good business.
Right.
Right.
That's not the way you do it.
So the reality of acquiring Donovan Mitchell is if we acquire Donovan Mitchell, the reality is that we're going to keep some of our assets. And in that scenario, are you okay with Donovan Mitchell? Say we got to give up Grimes, McBride, Cam, Fournier, and 5 first-round picks, 6 first-round picks. Are you okay with that?
Hold on. Say the names again.
Grimes, McBride, Cam, Fournier, and 6 first-round picks.
No,
Do you
I'm
do
not.
it?
No.
So
And
that's where we disagree.
the reason why I
Because
say that is because I don't look at Donovan Mitchell the same way you do.
yeah, but look at a team with Brunson, Mitchell, RJ, Randall, Mitch, IQ, Obi, Sims, like D Rose.
I see. All right, you just gave me that lineup. I see a bunch of dudes who need the ball in their hand in order for them to succeed. You just said that Jalen Brunson loves to
Jalen Brunson is great off the ball.
Yeah, he's had shown that he's great off the ball, but he's at his best when he's going to the paint. So who's going to be the primary ball handler?
Jalen Brunson got paid playing next to Luka Doncic.
Who's going to be the primary?
Yeah.
What's the whole point? No, hold on. What's the whole point of Jalen Brunson coming to New York to be the primary ball handler for you to tell me that, okay, yeah, he plays good off the ball?
Because
King Angie, let me have this one, bro.
Oh, my bad.
I promise you, I kick it right to you. Right? Hey, Don P, the reason why is because no NBA player has a 40% usage rate. This narrative of ball dominant player X need to have the ball in his hand and player X ball hand. He like to have the ball. Nah, bro, man, that's lame. That's lame as hell, bro. NBA players share the basketball, man. When people say that, man, it's like the strangest argument play. Like no dude in the NBA has like a 60% usage rate, bro. Everybody plays on and off the ball during stretches of games. Even James Harden, who's got a ridiculous usage rate, even Luka with a ridiculous usage rate, right? Shares the ball, bro.
And
you know what I'm saying?
Look at it. Jalen Brunson can play off the ball. Spider can play off the ball. RJ can play off the ball. Look at Julius in LA, in New Orleans. He can play off the ball. It just wasn't his role the last couple of years. Mitch, obviously doesn't need the ball in his hands. Obi doesn't need the ball in his hands. Fournier doesn't need the ball in his hands. It's a lot of dudes that can play off the ball. Again, that's a narrative that's being spread, and it's not really true. It's the way Tibbs used these guys the last couple of years.
Also,
but look at their
go
back
ahead.
of the player card. Like a Julius Randle. Julius Randle was never a primary playmaker until Tibbs made him one. So put him back in his role.
Can I give an extreme example of what I'm talking about?
Go ahead.
Russell Westbrook and LeBron James.
This is a completely different situation, bro.
Okay. I'm gonna say how it's different. Westbrook, I'm keeping it buck. Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell have higher basketball IQs than Russell Westbrook, and they don't like have terrible spacing. You need spacing with LeBron. Westbrook does not offer that, and he's not much of a cutter. He doesn't really relocate off the ball. He just stands in one spot. And Donovan Mitchell is a slasher, and he knows how to cut, and he knows how to penetrate and pass out of his slashing. He's much more of, at this point, in 2022, he's much more of a dynamic player on offense than Russell Westbrook is. Simply.
And Westbrook and LeBron are both centered players. And when I say that, I mean they're type of players that the offense has to be centered around them. They are the gravity of your offense, right? That is not the same thing with guys like Brunson, Mitchell, RJ, and Randall.
That's not okay.
Mitchell, RJ, and Randall, none of those are primary ball handlers. Donovan Mitchell has played off the ball almost his whole entire NBA career, right? Especially when he played next to Conley. RJ is not a primary ball handler. He can play make, but he's not a primary ball handler. Julius Randle is not a primary ball handler. So this is all going to fall on Tibbs and how he coaches this team, in my opinion.
RJ was better than Butler. Smart, Dort on defense. I don't know about this one. I was just reading what this guy was saying. Bodega 21 RJ stats was better than Butler. Smart. Yeah.
Shout out to Hadouken.
Yeah, that's sound.
That's Hadouken.
We have to research. We have to research that. I'm gonna research that real quick. Hey, go ahead, bro. I'm sorry. I'm not. And hey, y'all go ahead. I'm gonna research that real quick. I'll be right here behind us.
But not like Don, like your concerns are not without merit, but I just don't think they're enough to not give this a shot. I mean, I just don't know where we turn. Like where do we turn? Like are we sure RJ, Obi, IQ that these guys are gonna be enough to get us to that place? I don't think so. I think we're gonna have to find a way to bring in elite talent. We're gonna have to find a way to do it. And we're not gonna be able to do it through a draft because we're never gonna be bad enough. Because we have too many good players to be bad enough to get elite talent in the draft.
That's one thing I agree with you on, NG. I do believe that we do have to get elite talent, but I do believe that we're in a better position as far as the young talent that we do have right now to see. I mean, just to at least update value, see what we have in them. It's not like we lost with the young guys last season. We lost with the veterans. We didn't lose with Obi. We lost with what's his name, Julius Randle. We didn't.
But like in the trade proposal I gave you, I didn't even propose giving up Obi. Let's say
or IQ.
Let's say we bring in Donovan Mitchell, right? And 2 years down the line, Giannis says, you know what? I want a new challenge, right? Giannis says, I want a new challenge, right? So we gave up 6 picks, right? So we still have 5 first-round picks left. We have IQ, Obi, Jalen Brunson, Randall, Mitch. We have all of these assets to go and pair somebody with Donovan Mitchell. And now
and their money too.
And that's the idea. You get a guy like Donovan Mitchell with the idea that later on down the line, a bigger fish is going to want out. And he's going to look at New York and say, listen, these guys have been contending in the East. They're a good basketball team. They have pieces where I can go there and win a championship. Not go there and be a savior, but go there and win a championship. And that's what you do.
And that's kind of similar to what the Raptors did, albeit the context is a little bit different, but they traded DeRozan. They traded a bunch of young players and a ton of picks just to get the A1 All-NBA player, and then they won the NBA Finals. So
I would say this. Well, everything you said, it makes sense. I'm not going to say it doesn't, but you're saying it with an assumption that we are going to compete with them. And that's something that I just don't know. I don't know.
It's impossible to know, but I tell you what, our chances are much better because we finally have an elite talent that matters in this league. This is a copycat league. This is a follower league. Players go where other dudes go. Getting a guy like Donovan Mitchell, that increases our gravitational pull to where now we have a stronger pull because not only do we have a guy, a clear, in my opinion, people could disagree, a clear championship number 2 option. Donovan Mitchell was a clear championship number 2 option, in my opinion. So you have a guy that a superstar like Giannis and somebody can look at and say, if I go play with that dude as my number 2, I can win a ring with him, right? Now that you have that guy in place, you're in much better position to go get another dude. It's not like we in Washington or Charlotte. Like we're in New York City. We don't even have to be championship contenders to draw a guy. We can win 45, 50 games a year. And a guy like Giannis is going to look at that and say, if they add me to that, we can win a championship. And that's what we want to do. This is not about winning a championship next year or 2 years from now. It's about the long view. Donovan is 25 years old. He's 25 years old. At the end of his contract, he won't even be 30 yet. So he has probably a whole other contract with us. So I'm telling you, like, this is the move, in my opinion. Danny Ainge is playing hardball like he should be playing, right? But at the end of the day, he's going to have to lower his asking price because nobody can offer near as much as we can offer. So I wouldn't be afraid about giving up too much. Leon Rose, if he's showing us one thing, he doesn't get fleeced in trades.
That's true. That's true.
He doesn't get fleeced in trades. Leon Rose knows the agent game. Donovan is a CAA client. Do you think that Leon Rose doesn't know Donovan wants out? He knows. It's not public knowledge, but I bet you Leon Rose knows that Donovan wants out. So Leon Rose is playing with more chips in his hands than we see. You understand? And that gives me confidence.
Now I asked Jay this earlier, I'm gonna ask you: was he one of those people who was willing to give up, being that all our pieces for Jaden Ivey?
Again, all our pieces is a very like broad term.
If we were, it would have happened. But it didn't.
Like no, I wouldn't have given.
No. I'm not talking about the front office. I'm talking
Oh, you
about
talking about us? Oh, okay.
yeah. I'm talking about the fans. I'm talking about what I seen before the draft happened.
But like give an example of what someone was throwing out, what they would give up.
Yeah, like because most of what I seen was picks and a young guy. So like 2 first-round picks and a young guy. Like it wasn't our pieces.
Hey, so I'm gonna just say this to both of y'all. I know it's gonna sound like nonsense, but who cares? It's 2:00 in the morning on a Sunday. Who cares if it sounds like nonsense or not? I think Leon Rose in the front office wanted to acquire all 3 targets, and they just walked away from Ivy. Right? I think their main target this offseason had been Donovan Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
They knew they had Jalen Brunson in the bag, and I think they also wanted Jaden Ivey. Right? And I know it sounds crazy, but it's not even inconceivable to think that this front office saw our lack of athleticism, right, last year, and doubled down on repairing an apparent flaw. Right? Because what happened is when you look at last year's shooting percentages, right, from 0 to 6 feet, from 6 feet to 12 feet, from 13 to 18 feet, from 18 to 21, from the 3-point range. Man, listen, our guards were terrible at the rim. Terrible. Right? And it's why you go get a Donovan Mitchell. It's why you go get a Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson can finish 12 foot and in is his bag. Why you think you go get him? Why you think you go get a Jaden Ivey? Right? Because I know everybody loves the young core, bro. Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. When this young core gets traded, we'll get another one
easily.
I'm gonna say one last thing. A lot of Knicks fans was willing to trade a lot of pieces to get Jaden Ivey. That's cool.
Right. Except RJ. RJ was off the table.
There's another draft that's coming. That's reputed to be a generational type draft. That's reputed to be way stronger than the draft that we just got by. Why not use the assets that we would have given to Danny Ainge to acquire Donovan Mitchell to secure a top 5 spot in the draft?
Because you might draft Anthony Bennett.
Right. And it's gonna be and Don P, listen, it's gonna be basketball played in between now and that draft.
And like
we can't just hit a fast forward button to that draft.
RJ's gonna be going into his 5th year, man.
And Freezy, I'll throw a wrinkle in your theory.
And be careful, bro, because it already sounded crazy when I said it. Be careful.
I may be of the idea that they wanted Jaden Ivey to trade for Donovan Mitchell. Right? Because he's under control, and that's an asset that Utah would have looked at and said, "Okay, yeah, we'll take him, and you can keep Grimes, you can keep Quickly, and one of those picks, and we'll take Jaden Ivey off your hand."
You just messed my head up, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Because chest right there.
Because that CAA connection, Leon Rose knows that Donovan Mitchell wants out. He's known for a while. Quickly knows Donovan Mitchell wants out. This Knicks brass has been moving this offseason with this master plan in mind to get Donovan Mitchell the whole time. They knew what was going on before the rest of the NBA did, I believe. So I think we've been doing a lot of things with even acquiring all those picks. That wasn't by accident. Like they passing on Durant, passing on all of these dudes. Like Leon Rose knew what he was doing the whole time. And I'm sure he was looking at us overreacting and cracking up in his office, just laughing, saying, "Wait till they see this one." So, man, I think everything Leon has been doing has been for this moment, because Leon Rose, if he gets Donovan Mitchell, he can quit tomorrow, and his whole tenure will be a success.
Yep.
Be a success.
Hey, let me pivot real quick off Donovan Mitchell, because we're gonna have plenty of time to talk Donovan Mitchell. As a matter of fact, I'm doing the Knicks morning drive in the morning at 8:00. Right? You know me, back to back, bro. You know I'm a grinder, bro. I can't help it.
24/7 with it, man.
24/7, 365, bro. So I want to say to y'all this. I want to offer y'all this. I think this season the Knicks are gonna win 50 games, 50 plus games with Donovan Mitchell, 50 plus, right? And here's why. I think Donovan Mitchell is gonna turn Mitchell Robinson into Rudy Gobert. And before we jump out the window, because a lot of times we jump out the window when we hear new stuff, right? Before we jump out of the window, I just looked at who led the NBA in dunks the last several years. Guess who it was?
Rudy
Gobert. Now we have a dude in that same template, right? That led that shot the highest shooting percentage ever, right? And Mitchell Robinson. Now imagine if you get a ball handler that can run the pick and roll, that can get his big man dunks like he did Rudy Gobert. Now, with that said, just hear me out on this part. Just hear me out on this part, right? With Mitchell Robinson dunking, dominating on the inside, what does that do to teams' defenses in one-on-one situations against Jalen Brunson and RJ Barrett?
Opens it up.
Julius Randle.
The lane is going to be open because you can't leave him off the dunker spot or off the roll. You can't just leave him.
Right. You when Spider Mitchell gets the ball in his hands, and it's not just Spider because it's Jalen Brunson also. Jalen Brunson is in the top 90 percentile of pick and roll point guard efficiency over the last two regular seasons.
We're gonna
the
put
last two
centers,
regular seasons.
We're gonna put centers in like positions where they're gonna have to make business decisions because they're gonna get embarrassed.
They're gonna have to either give up the mid range to Jalen Brunson or get dunked on by Mitchell Robinson. Pick your poison. Choose. Right? And then if teams decide, most teams, listen, y'all know how it works. Most teams use 3 players to defend 2 players in the pick and roll, right? They do 3-on-2, and the reason why they do that is because they use a rover, like Tibbs uses RJ Barrett to say if we're playing Phoenix, right? And say Chris Paul calls for DeAndre Ayton to come up top. Well, DeAndre Ayton is Mitchell Robinson's man and RJ Barrett's man, right? RJ has to tag that roller, make sure he don't get a free release to the basket, but he also has to scramble out to the corner for the corner 3, right? And so y'all ever been in a situation you like, yo, how did RJ Barrett get backdoored on that play? Or how did RJ Barrett leave that man wide open? Well, the weak side defender has multiple responsibilities. The weak side defender has to make sure the roller is tagged, the corner is covered, and the wing guy is covered. The weak side guy. Now, I'm not talking about the strong side defense. I'm talking about the weak side defense, right? He has to have a foot on the box to cover the shooter on the wing and the guy in the corner, right? And so what happens they run the pick and roll, right? And RJ takes the guy, the 3-point shooter on the wing, right? Well, the guy in the corner cuts backdoor on RJ, right? And you're like, how RJ lost track of his man? Bro, King Angie, you can speak to this. You know how you be standing by somebody, bro? You don't just lose track of them. They standing right here by you.
Right.
Right? You just don't have a brain fart and forget that a 6'8" human being is next to you. What happens is the offense puts the defender in jeopardy, right? Like the offense makes a defender choose, and in that split second that he chooses, a great point guard picks the open option, right? What was happening with us is Kemba Walker on bad knees was too slow to get to the point where he can make the choice, right? Emmanuel quickly, while he was quicker, wasn't able to diagnose that fast enough. Derrick Rose is always hurt.
Right.
Alec Burks is not a point guard. So when you take into account the poor point guard play last year and think about who you're adding, Jalen Brunson, who was in the top 90 percentile and doing just that, now your kids like R.J. Barrett are going to eat. Mitchell Robinson may lead the NBA in dunks, right? Donovan Mitchell goes into a game on a nightly basis where if they double team him, the other three guys on the floor are going to get 20 plus, and he'll have 10 plus assists. So when we say, man, look, don't go get Donovan Mitchell and don't go get such and such, bro, you can't just look at names on paper. You got to look at systems and chemistry, right? The system is there already. Sid Tibbs runs this high pick and roll screen, this high screen and roll system the 6 most times in the NBA. And he did that without a point guard. I'm here to tell you that with the point guard, we might be 4th, maybe even 3rd in the most number of attempts, because you have 2 guys that are experts at doing it. Right? Our only thing is how long will it take this team to gel?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only question.
And then Freezy, if Julius can knock down open jump shots, oh my God, oh my Lord!
But you're suggesting that Julius Randle will get open jump shots. That's a win already.
Right? Exactly. Exactly.
Is that not a win, Don P? Is that not a win?
Or Julius attacking closeouts on slower out forwards.
That's a win.
Go ahead.
And in that offense, where is our weakness?
There is none, because Mitchell Robinson may lead the NBA in dunks.
And that's the starting lineup, right? In the trade proposal I threw out, we still bring D Rose quickly, Obi off the bench. Man, listen, Freezy did an excellent job of talking about the basketball fit, which is important. But I'm also a big believer in personality fit, right? And we got to look at some of these dudes. If we get Donovan Mitchell, it's going to be like clockwork. The national media is going to start doubting Donovan. They're going to start trashing this game, picking apart this game, why we're going to be a playing team. Donovan Mitchell is the type of dude that thrives off of that. Who remembers when Shaquille O'Neal on TNT made the comment about Donovan Mitchell? And Donovan, right? So he thrives on that energy, on that doubt me. He thrives on that energy. Jalen Brunson, true underdog story. He thrives on that energy. RJ Barrett, keep doubting him. He's another dude. He has something to prove. Julius Randle has something to prove, right?
And it's an even year. And it's an even year. Remember, Julius Randle is always bad, good, bad, good, bad.
Right.
And now it's time for.
And what you're doing is you're bringing these guys together, and they all feel disrespected. They all have something to prove.
Right.
Right. And to me that matters, right? Because it's I see a lot of dogs on this team. Like Donovan and Jalen, how whatever they lack in size, they have it hard. There's not gonna be any team pushing us around. Like I don't think we're gonna worry about effort. Like I think we're gonna be a team that and RJ's a dog too. Mitch, say what you want. Mitch doesn't back down to anybody. Right. You understand? So we got a lot of dogs on this team. We got a lot of dogs on.
And the last time Mitchell Robinson played against DeAndre Ayton, the game that Cam Johnson hit the game winner.
Yeah, like 3 points.
Yeah. You remember Mitchell Robinson shut down DeAndre Ayton, and remember RJ Barrett went to the rim reckless to throw up that shot late in the shot clock, all that dribbling, pounding. He did his Julius Randle, and I love RJ, but on that play he did. Right. He went to the hole and missed a wild layup, and guess who was there to tip it in to give the Knicks the lead?
Yeah.
Mitchell Robinson.
And then God forbid RJ Barrett take the next step.
Oh, he gonna take the next step, bro.
God forbid. Like who last year besides Donovan Mitchell had the ability to drop 46 on Miami?
Right.
Who?
Hey, King Angie, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna just say this thing about RJ just real quick. I think RJ Barrett should have had 60 in that game.
Yeah, definitely.
And the fact that he missed almost 10 free throws, how many free throws he missed? 8, 9, 7, 8. How many? Can somebody tell us how many free throws RJ missed?
It been double digits, Freeze, because he should have been
He
well
missed
over.
like 8. He missed 8 or 7.
He missed like 7 or 8 free throws, man.
And he went cold in the second half. He went cold.
And he started missing bunnies. Remember the and ones that wasn't going?
Yeah.
Oh.
And man,
Freezy, I wanted to mention one more thing about Mitchell Robinson. One thing that can improve. I know he gets a lot of flack for his screening, but when you have an elite guard, they can actually set your screens up tenfold better.
Right.
We had Alec Burks. He was coming up and just coming off the screen immediately before Mitch could even set the screen correctly.
Right.
There was a whole lot of panic and like finicky stuff going on with our pick and rolls, man.
Right. And for one, Alec Burks. Now you can tell they were dudes that were not true NBA point guards because for one, the screens that were set were not always set in places that can threaten both sides of the floor. If you only threaten one side of the floor, right? Like think about this. Why would you call the screen? You calling the screen on the wing and you take the screen and go around to the corner. As soon as you do that, one player, one defender can defend the roll man, the spot up guy, and the pick and roll ball handler.
And we didn't have weak side actions on top of that.
And so say you got a weak side action going, right? Now I got one man that can defend 3 people. All I gotta do is put my hands up and force the ball handler to make a bad wild pass across the court.
Yep.
We may have been the worst team in the league last year at applying pressure to the paint, like constantly just getting a foot in the paint.
Outside of RJ got his feet in the paint at will. It just he was never a great finisher.
And he's one man.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
And we just lack that guard that can just get a foot in the paint and make the right read. And we
consistently during the game.
And we would have 2 of those dudes.
Right.
And then the thing that was so gross, I mentioned it last time I was on. We literally were last in pace, but RJ himself was number 1 in fast break points. Now imagine with actual guards with high IQ that will actually push the ball up the court.
Right.
What RJ will look like in transition.
I like that. And listen, man, I'm not gonna lie to you that whatever you want to call it, you can call it a 3-guard lineup. You can call it a RJ at the 3. You could call RJ the jumbo guard, but I kind of like RJ being the bigger guard of a 3-guard lineup.
Mm-hmm.
And just on paper, people are like, well, RJ playing the 3. Well, no, not really, because you expect your 3s and your 2s. You expect your wing players and your guards to be able to do different stuff, right? But like you can legit put a jumbo 3 and a wing player on the floor. Like for instance, you could put RJ Barrett on the floor with, say, a Mikal Bridges. Like you can go Miles, but let's use Miles Bridges for example. You could have a lineup with Brunson, Mitchell, RJ, Miles Bridges, and a big. Right? Like 3 guards, a wing player, and a big. Right? I think I like that because what RJ provides, what RJ doesn't provide in consistent 3-point shooting, he does provide an unselfishness and ball handling. Right? Not this year that just passed. This year that just passed, everybody knew he was going to jack all the time because he wanted to average 20 points a game.
I was going to say something.
Right. Yeah, RJ didn't pass the ball down the stretch of a wasted season, and I don't blame him. Because it was down the stretch. It was down the stretch of a wasted season. So we knew RJ was shooting, bro. Once we knew Randall was out for the year.
Yeah.
Whatever. Just shoot the ball, bro. But I do like the concept of RJ setting up teammates, especially Brunson and Spider. Because what happens is RJ runs the pick and roll with Mitch, right? Now you got to contend like, Okay, 3 against 2. Who are my 3? What 2 are my 3 going to commit to?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Do I commit the 3 to Donovan Mitchell's side of the floor and let RJ force RJ to go right and take a gamble that RJ will miss going right? Or does RJ Barrett make the right play there when it's 3-on-2 on that side? RJ has to pick out the two defenders that are occupied. One what might be on him, and we'll say one is on Brunson. That means Julius Randle is wide open.
Wide open.
Right. So these are the things that we got to think about when we say no, don't trade the kids. You know what I'm saying? Just wait. You know what I'm saying? The guy might be ready next year. I get that.
Or if
but
they
what I want to do
overcommit.
is open a possibility of on the court basketball stuff that matters.
Right, because we talk all the time, Freeze, about what can go wrong. Right.
Right.
And let's be honest, things can go wrong. Right. Obviously, there's a risk to everything. Right. But I don't think we spend enough time like talking about like, listen, a lot could go right with this.
Right.
Like a lot could go right, and it's not far fetched.
Right.
I see RJ Barrett being. If anybody watched Golden State in the finals, and you saw the way Andrew Wiggins benefited from the type of gravity that Steph, Draymond, and Clay require, I see RJ taking that kind of leap this year to where he's going to benefit so much from not being a focus. Because you can't key in on RJ when you got dudes like Donovan and Jalen pressure in the paint and Julius Randle being the threat he can be and Mitch being a lob threat. There's no way you can focus in on RJ Barrett.
Hey, King Angie, you know what? You know what, though? A year from now, based on what you said, I agree with you based on what you said. But a year from now, dudes are going to be arguing with you saying that they said it first.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be like, but I heard King Angie say it last June. No, he didn't. King Angie ain't say that.
So
Bro.
I love
if you
sleeping on RJ. I love that they're sleeping on RJ because he is about to. People are gonna be so focused on Donovan, they're gonna look up and say, "Wait, RJ averaging 19 on 47% shooting, and yeah, it's gonna be
with rebounds up. His rebound and assists will definitely be up too.
Right. Don't look for his growth in points per game this year. Don't look for RJ's growth in points per game this year because there's gonna be a lot of other dudes that's gonna be getting buckets. But look for his growth in his efficiency, and again. I look at him playing like that Luol Deng role that Deng played for Chicago with Tom Thibodeau on those glory years, where RJ's defense is about to go up another tick, I believe, because he's going to be required to defend some of these bigger guards and some of the Tatums, the Browns, the Hardens. Like RJ,
I was just going to say that.
A lot of his focus is going to be on the defensive end, and I would love to see RJ become a more defensive stopper. And then what he gives us on offense is gravy. Gravy.
Right. I was just about to say that, man. I
gotta bring in my Yankee hat, man. Sorry. 14-1, Yankees, Red Sox.
Bro, you kind of make me throw up, bro.
Gotta say about is I'm rooting for him.
We good. We got 2 dubs today.
I'm rooting for him.
Hey, Sarge, I got something for your Yankees hat. You ready for this thing for your Yankees hat?
Oh no. Okay.
Freeze, you gotta relax, man. Rep BX.
Oh man,
we gotta convert.
I'm talking about the Yankees.
We gotta convert Donovan Mitchell to a Yankees fan. We gotta convert him.
Exactly.
That ain't gonna happen.
That means his IQ's not that high yet. Maybe he doesn't have a high IQ.
Hey, Sarge, I got something for your Yankees hat, bro. In King Angie, I got something for y'all Yankees, bro.
Donovan Mitchell cannot come to New York rooting for a loser. He just can't do that. That's a bad omen. It's a bad omen, man. If
Come on, bro.
Yeah, I'm jumping in again, guys, to say one thing. Again, for maybe the 4th straight night, I've changed my mind on the trade, on the deal, because you guys have some brilliant arguments. And I always like to bring stuff from my business background, experiences. But one was actually a TED Talk. Melody Hobson, I don't know if you know who she is. Brilliant financial mind. I'm thinking, man, if Tibbs Rose, all of them would actually look around at where they get the knowledge. This one quick story will actually tell you why. Maybe coming to bring someone like Uncle Freezy in the dialogue in the boardroom with them may be a great idea. Did you know the smallpox vaccine was reviewed by the top all world scientists during the time when it was a pandemic?
Right.
Somewhat. It was discovered by a farmer. On his farm, he realized the milkmaids never got the smallpox of everybody else in the town. And the smallpox vaccine is bovine based. It was based on, extracts from cows to solve it. So the solution, with all the brilliant scientific minds in the world, a farmer saw milkmaids and realized that could be a reason. So the answer to our solutions, our problems with the Knicks, the way to go, bring the agents in, bring the GMs in, bring all those guys in. But you know what? Let's go straight down to a cat on podcasts named Uncle Freezy and bring him in the boardroom. And you never know where we can be. I'll tell you guys have some brilliant thoughts, man. Yeah.
And you never know.
So thank you, Freezy, man, because you guys are keeping my mind rolling. And I'm happy no matter which way it goes. I'm happy if we get our New Yorker back in town, win a ring with him, and not get to my Obi, keep him there too, and not two, and maybe one or two. I'm ready for Grimes to go. I finally agree that Grimes can go without any real.
Hey, Sarge,
fear.
I got something for you. You're a Yankees fan, right?
You're a Yankees fan, right? Intelligent.
You're a Yankees fan. Hey, do me a favor. Look at this for me. Hey, you like this blue and orange hat now? You like this blue and orange hat?
Wow,
now?
what a beautiful! Oh my goodness! Wow, Doc Gooden, Del Strawberry, the greats of baseball history.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Also,
hey,
you guys are brilliant, man. Thank you, man.
Hey, so just real quick, just wanted to just say a couple things before I get out of here, Sarge, because I gotta wrap up, man, because I gotta be back on at 8:00. Y'all know how we rock, bro.
Right.
So I'm gonna wrap up here, like, you know what I'm saying, do some production stuff, get back on at 8:00, rock till about 12.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying, and then take a short nap, and then get up for the summer league game at 3:00, and do that until probably about 7. Excuse me, and then be back for the Knicks at Night podcast tomorrow night at 11.
Perfect. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. You know how hey, man. So let me ask, how you been?
I've been good, man. Running around, man, trying to pay the bills, man. Trying to pay the bills,
Is that a Celtics green screen behind you?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me tear this down. Oh,
No.
I'm talking about.
Hey, y'all. So I'm gonna get out of here so that I can do a few things, but I did want to address what Miss Geraldine said. Miss Geraldine said that she doesn't feel like Tom Thibodeau is the coach for Donovan Mitchell. And Miss Geraldine, I'm gonna just say this for you. I agree, right? But hear me out on this part, right? I think that first year with Tibbs is going to get everything possible out of Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson, the new additions, right? The new additions, not Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike, right? Not Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike. But Tibbs is going to get everything possible out of Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell that first year. But after that, you got to get Tibbs in the front. You got to move Tibbs off the bench and bring in Johnny Bryant, right? Because what you don't want to do is have Tibbs ruin the mojo. What happened to us this year is Tibbs ruined the mojo, right? It's no knock on Tibbs because he's a great coach, but Tibbs ruined the mojo, right? So what you want to do is have Tibbs coach those two kids the first year, and then get them out the way, right? Get them out the way.
Tibbs is the floor raiser, but you need a ceiling raiser after that.
Yeah.
There we go.
So one of them guys is going to make the All-Star team, right? One of them guys is probably going to be in the MVP conversation, right? RJ is going to be a whole lot better. Mitch is going to lead the NBA in dunks because Donovan Mitchell helped Rudy Gobert lead the NBA in dunks. And Rudy Gobert and Mitchell Robinson is the same prototype. It's one of the reasons why they signed Mitch back to all that money. They're like, hey, Mitch, listen, don't go, bro. I'm telling you, we got a plan. This is our plan, but you can't tell nobody. We're going to get you Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson. So sign back with us long term, and I promise you, you're going to touch the ball. Right? So, Ms. Geraldine, that right there is for you. Y'all, I'm going to get out of here. Sarge, I'll see y'all probably in about, dang it. I'll see y'all in like 5 hours. I'll see y'all in like 5 hours, bro. Hey,
yes, sir.
Hey, Don P, man, I appreciate you being a good sport, bro. We were just trying to figure out like where you was coming from.
Yeah, for my sanity, how was you able to watch Knicks when Al Harrington was the best player on there?
Oh, jeez.
Like, you don't like my avatar? You don't like my picture, man?
Bro.
Al Buckets?
Yeah. Al Buckets. Good God Almighty. Bro, some of us used to jump out of airplanes, bro.
Okay.
Like some of us used to hear something go, some mean dude stand up with a bunch of equipment on and say, outgoing personnel stand up. Outgoing personnel stand up. Sound off for the equipment check. Okay. So it's like a thing. I ain't gonna get into all that stuff. So if you crazy, bro, if you crazy doing one thing, bro, you could be crazy doing something else. Is what I'm getting at. So, but anyway, I'm gonna get out of here, man. Miss Geraldine said, great is an understatement. Let him retire. Don't want him in my front. Miss Geraldine's like, he gotta go. Yeah, man. But hey, listen, I'll see all of y'all in a few hours. Man, y'all rest peacefully. I'll see y'all in a little bit.
Salute.
Thank you.
Salute.